This like I got this music in my mind saying it's gonna be alright. Cause the play's gonna play, 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 play. And the haters gonna hate, 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 hate. It's gonna shake, 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 shake. Shake it out, shake it out. Heartbreakers gonna break, 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 break. It's gonna fake, 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 fake. It's gonna shake, 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 shake. Shake it out, shake it out. 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 Hey, hey, hey. Just think, while you've been getting down and out about the liars and the dirty, dirty cheats of the world, you could have been getting down to this sick beat. My ex-man brought his new girlfriend. She's like, oh my gosh. But I'm just gonna show you to the fella over there with the hella good hair. Won't you come on over, baby? We can shake, shake, shake. Yeah. Cause the play's gonna play, 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 play. He's gonna hate, hate, hate. It's gonna shake, 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 shake. Shake it out, shake it out.
Can you let in Michelda and Christina?
Why? Why, Michelda?
Michelda, would you use the word goodies? I don't know that you would use that word. Register free for more goodies. More goodies. I don't like that. Register free for more. Huh? More swag. Yes, I like that. Register free for more swag. All right, I'm about to post it on the page. Everybody's in. I haven't heard from Christina. Can you do me a favor and say something? Michelda, say something. Anything at all?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. All good. I'm about to go live on your Facebook.
Okay.
You ready?
And then you're going to make us co-hosts and all of that other good stuff?
Yes.
Thank you.
There we go. It's happening. Let me mute myself.
Okay, are we ready to let people in?
Are you all set there?
I don't hear music, so I'm waiting on the Keisha, I think, was playing the music, but I don't hear it.
So you can't hear the music when I'm muted. Can you hear it now?
Yeah, you can't mute yourself. We won't be able to hear it.
So I have to be unmuted for the music to play.
Yeah, it's on Spotify. It's on your phone, right?
No, it's on the computer.
On your computer, right? If your computer is muted, then the music is muted.
Okay. I thought that if my mic from Zoom was muted, that it would still play.
So do we need somebody else to play it?
Possibly, yes, because I don't want any noise from my background to.
Okay. Okay, you can stop it then.
Let's see.
It's okay. You can stop it.
Stop the music?
Yeah, just stop it.
Okay.
Can you make me a co-host, please?
Yes.
I don't have time to put it on my computer because I thought that was handled. So I'll have to just play something later. Is your background not such where you can play the music for now,
Yes.
Takesha?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, so
what song then are you going to play?
Where did she go? Because on here, it only gives option for make a host. It doesn't say co-host. So if I make you a host, you're the host. Where did she go? There's only one host at a time on here, the options.
One host at a time. So you're the main host.
Okay, but can I make them co-host?
We gave them co-hosting abilities before we started recording. So they can share the screen and everything else.
Okay, I thought so.
She's just a girl and she's on fire.
Okay.
Hotter than a fantasy, only like a highway. She's living in a world and it's on fire. Filled with catastrophe, and she knows she can fly away. Oh, she got both feet on the ground, and she's burning.
Welcome everybody, to the Single CEO Summit. Now get into that chat. I want to hear from you all. Go ahead and put inside of the chat box, where are you joining us from? Put your city inside of the chat box, ladies, and happy Single CEO Day.
Girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. Looks like a girl, but she's a flame. So bright she can burn your eyes. Better look the other way. You can try, but you'll never forget her name. She's on top of the world, hottest of the hottest girls. Say, oh,
We love to see it. Oh my goodness, we have people here from Milwaukee, from North Carolina, from Miami, woo, Georgia, Augusta. Come on, ladies, go ahead and put it in the chat box. Tell us where you're joining us from. We want to hear from you. CEO Summit. Ladies, we have a great I want to your Facebook, Michelle Johnson page. You can share this summit everywhere and to everyone you know. Okay, we have Trinidad, we have Raleigh, North Carolina. We have beautiful cities here with us today. Thank you for joining us.
everybody says that she's on fire.
Don't forget to stuff, and I want you to put hashtag single CEO. You are it. Go ahead and tell us if how did you hear about this event? How are you excited to see over these next 3 days? Put it in the chat box.
Hello, everyone.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello. Listen, I see so many of my friends. I see so many of just amazing people. Thank you so much for joining us. I am so glad to be a part. Oh my goodness, we are here. Y'all, can I tell you that I am so excited about what is going to transpire over the next 2.5 days. Can I tell you to buckle in, put on your seatbelt, and be ready. Be ready to make sure that you are ready to transition, that you are ready to move to the next level, that you are ready to grow, and that you are ready to sit in a space of healing, to sit in a space of reflection, to sit in a space of just being. And sometimes we as women, we don't get to just be. So I am so delighted that you are joining me today for our first Single CEO Summit, Navigating Money, Biz, and Dating. Y'all, can I tell you, we have an amazing lineup of speakers. We have an amazing lineup of specialties, right? Where people are going to share their success. They're going to share their failures. They're going to share how they've made it through some of the most difficult moments of their life. So I am so excited. I am glad you're here. And here's what I want you to do. If you registered with that girlfriend, go tag them in. Tell them, come on, you got to get in here. You can still register. Others can still register, but let's be sure that we are packing out these rooms because these speakers are bringing the fire. And can I tell you, do not show up in a session without paper, without pencil, and without your tissue. Can I say that again? It is going to be imperative that you have your tissue. So journey with me as we go through these next couple of days. Now, let's get started. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, to be gorgeous, to be talented, to be fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. You are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. I think I need to repeat that line because I need somebody to really understand that there is a light that is waiting to shine through you, and it is in all of us. And as we let our own light shine, oh, I just want to stop there and do some finger snaps. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. So join with me. I want you to snap. I want you to let your light shine because there are people that are on this Zoom, that are in the rooms around you, that are in places and spaces that need to have the permission to let their light shine. My goodness, as we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. You guys know and are familiar with this poem written by Marianne Williamson. My point today is that you are now liberated to let your light shine, to walk in the beauty of who you are, to walk in the example of who you were meant to be. Your light is so needed around the world. And if I don't do anything, one of my purpose is to launch you, to propel you, to activate you into the places and spaces that you were designed and called to be around the world so that you can freely be authentic to you and help others do the same. Welcome, my beautiful sisters. Welcome to each and every one of you. Welcome to this space of freedom, and welcome to this space where you are walking into the place that you deserve. And I am excited to be a part. I am honored that you made a decision to journey with me over the next few days. And I walk into this room with a heightened sense of expectation and anticipation. I believe within every single fiber that if you lean in, oh, that's good, move with the flow, open your heart, elevate your mind, that you will receive the level of expectation. And in fact, yep, you set yourself up to receive greater. See, the atmosphere for this space was set before we even arrived in this moment. The atmosphere is ready to release everything that you need. And I'm excited to have a front row seat to your transformation. So why don't you really quick with me, breathe in and breathe out. Oh, did that not feel good? Let's do that one more time. Breathe in and let it flow. Did you just feel the atmosphere around you shift? Did you just feel the moment move? Let's do it one more time. Whew, my goodness. Breathe in. And breathe out. So welcome to our first #Singleceo Summit. I'm so glad that you are taking this journey with me. Now, I just need to do a few housekeeping issues and then we are going to move forward. I don't know about you, but that just brought me into a space and it absolutely elevated my expectation. I am literally now poised on the edge of my seat because I know that we are properly positioned now for amazing things to happen. So just a few announcements. Number one, we are in a virtual environment. We've been living here now for a year and a half or so, or about a year. And so by now we're accustomed to Zoom and the technical challenges and chatting on Zoom, muting our cameras, right? I mean, muting our microphones, making sure that as we move about in this virtual space, that we are respectful of each other and respectful of opinions. So thank you in advance for that. As well, you know, technical difficulties might happen. We've prayed, we've fasted, we've done all. But you know what? At the end of the day, we are in joy and we will not be moved from this place of peace and rest. So if you get kicked out, just come back. It's just that simple. If I get kicked out, I'll come back. You can also follow us live at my Facebook page, Michelda Johnson, and I look forward to seeing you there. More importantly, engage, interact, light up the chat, be a part of the conversation, lean in, don't just sit and take it all in, but help push somebody else into that place of destiny and purpose as well. So with that said, I have the distinct honor of introducing our first speaker. Now, I'm a firm believer that nothing occurs through happenstance, that it just doesn't happen, that there is a purpose for everything. And so Dr. Tracy Timberlake entered my life when I was probably at a low space and had really decided that, you know what? I'm a few months from 50, and maybe I should say that I've accomplished all that is necessary for me to accomplish. And you know what? I had settled in. I figured, you know, I've done some great things, some amazing things have happened. Maybe this was it. And all the things I saw in my dreams, they weren't meant to be. I am so glad that Dr. Timberlake did not leave me in that place. She is an amazing individual, an amazing woman, an amazing international influencer. She grew a beauty brand, and I'm getting ahead of her bio, but let me just go back to say what she is to me. Without her, we wouldn't have this. Without her, we would not be in this space. And not only did she from the mindset back then, but she started pushing me, even as I started posting my #SingleCEO. So Dr. Tracy Timberlake is a multi-award winning business coach. She's a $1 million course creator and online influencer. Over 3 million people have watched her YouTube videos. More than 10,000 people have heard her speak and have taken her online training programs. It's no wonder her clients appropriately titled her the Entrepreneur Whisperer. Dr. TT's hope and vision for millions of entrepreneurs, leaders, and influencers all over the world is to understand the massive impact that they can create by showing up fully in the digital space and to give them the tools that empower them to do so. She does this through her motivational speaking, teaching, digital courses, and training programs, and regularly curated content on social media. I am so excited to invite to the stage my friend, my sister, my mentor, my coach, my friend again, Dr. Tracy Timberlake of Miami, Florida.
Hello, everyone. I am so honored to be here. What a wonderful, warm welcome, Michelda. And before I get into everything, obviously, I have to say how proud I am of you for showing up for this, because I know that in your eyes, it was just, a thought that you had in passing to share with the world on your Facebook page. And I'm looking at it as like, I know that there's impact that can be made. And I know that there are more people that need to hear about this. So the summit was birthed from your beautiful seed of inception. And now here it is. And I anticipate that this is only the first one out of many. I look forward to the time when the world opens up again and we can actually be in the same room having these conversations. I'm just moving things around so that I can see the chat box here for anybody. Hello, everyone. I see some familiar names in the chat. I see some new names. I'm so honored to be the first speaker of the summit. I'm coming to you from sunny Miami, Florida, where it is nice and warm here in February, which is exactly how I like it. Type in the chat. Now, I know you guys did this earlier, because I heard my business partner, Vivian, on talking to you guys. Where is everyone from? I want to see it. Who is in warm weather? Who is in cold weather? It is hot here. It's about 85 degrees. Well, awesome. Okay, Cleveland, Arizona. So we are national. So Michelda, I want you to see this is a national situation. There are people from all over the country, even the world, because we have Toronto. So it's international now. People from everywhere who are tuning into this. So welcome. I am so excited about this. There are two things that I love to talk about. Three things I love to talk about the most: money, mindset, and business, of course. And I guess the fourth would be a combination of all of those. So I'm really glad that I get to talk about that today. Thank you, everyone, for entertaining me. If you're new to me, just like Michelda said, she gave me a wonderful introduction, but I got my start in the YouTube world as a beauty vlogger. When I learned that I could make money by being myself, I was like, well, I have been doing everything wrong, because I grew up like a lot of people, thinking that, you had to go to college, then you got a career, and then you lived in that career for 40 years, and then you retire, and that's the end of life. And when I started making money as a beauty vlogger by just talking about the things that I liked, lip gloss, hair care products, what I was doing with my life, I was like, well, this is, yes, the best money. Thank you, Floor, so much for that. And so today I'm going to be talking about mindset, specifically leading us in and ushering us into this amazing summit that we get to take part of over the next couple of days. The title of this talk is the number one subconscious belief that is holding you back. And it may not be what you think it is. So I just want to say that right off the bat. I am a full participation teacher, right? So even though I am speaking, I'm very much an educator. I come from a higher education background. And so I like questions. If you have questions, you put them in the chat so that we can address them, because I want this to be a dialogue more than just me talking to you. I want us to be having a discourse on this topic of the number one subconscious belief that is holding you back. The more I think about it, right? I've been doing this work now as a business coach and really a life coach. It's like I'm a life coach in the shell of a business coach, because I work mostly with entrepreneurs. I like to say that I coach entrepreneurs to wholeness, right? When it comes to their mindset, when it comes to their money, I think your money and your mindset are directly correlated. I mean, the more you can get behind the belief that large quantities of money is available to you, that large quantities of impact is available to you, the more that you can become what we like to call in this world an energetic match to the money and impact you desire, the more you can lean in to God's desire for your life, and the easier it is to make the impact that you're looking for in the world. We're talking about money, God, business, dating. I mean, pretty much the gamut of what life as a single CEO looks like over the next couple of days. Specifically when it comes to the things that you desire, you have to know that they are there for you, right? You have these desires for a reason. I always say that God is with you in those desires, specifically when it comes to money or when it comes to impact. But money, we know that money is always circulating, right? That's why it's called currency. The reason why it doesn't come to us is usually because of us. So hopefully what I share today with regards to money or anything really in your life, hopefully it's of some value and I earn the privilege of your time. If you're live with me today, then welcome. If you're watching the replay, then I see you. I want to just acknowledge that you are in the replay and that my intention is that the message that I talk about, that the rest of the speakers talk about, really resonates and transforms no matter where you're watching from or when you are watching it. I highly suggest and recommend, as a matter of fact, I beseech each and every one of you to go ahead and sign up for the forever replay of the summit. And that way you will have these talks forever because you will need them moving forward. A lot of the times when you come to things like this, there are these mountaintop experiences and you're coming with your notebook and you're writing everything down and you're so excited and oh my goodness, yes, yes, yes. And then you walk away and you're like, okay, now what do I do? Right? I've heard it said when I was in grad school, there was a author who called summits and things like this. He actually called them, this is funny, but he called them spiritual rape, is what he said. Now, he later retracted that statement, but the idea is that, you come to these things and you have these mountaintop experiences, right? And then afterwards, you kind of crash land because there's nobody to support you along the way. So each person that you hear, each consultant, coach, expert, everybody that comes to the stage, they're coming with an abundance of knowledge and experience that we want to share with you. But of course, we don't live in your house, right? We can't watch you every single step of the way. And so we want to make sure that you are leaving with more than you came with, if that makes any sense. Okay, so however you got here, if you found your way to this summit, you're not here by accident, and I'm going to assume that many of you, and let me know in the chat, but I'm going to assume that many of you have been exposed in some capacity to mindset work. Am I right in making that assumption? Has anybody not been exposed to any mindset work? And when I say mindset work, I mean just like understanding positive thinking, or maybe you've been exposed in some capacity to universal or spiritual law and principle, right? Type that in the chat. Yes. Okay, I'm getting a lot of yeses. You're like, yes, that is me. Okay, good. Whether you've heard of things like the law of attraction or the law of vibration or the law of correspondence or whatever, these are universal principles that work in the world, whether you want to believe them or not. God created them. Okay, good. They are biblical. They exist. Here is the thing. If you're into the law of attraction and all the other laws, whatever they are, know that they're always working around you. My goal is always to help people understand how to leverage them so that they can work in their favor, right? Because they can't work in your favor if you don't learn to master your mind on the subconscious level. You may say, well, I want X relationship or X amount of money, or I really want to see this goal realized, right? And people say it all the time. They come to me all the time and they say, this is what I want. And then they are thinking about it and they're saying their affirmations, right? And they're praying about it and they're naming it and they're claiming it until kingdom come, and wondering, well, why don't I have it, right? Why hasn't it happened? And usually because on the conscious level, you're doing all the work, right? The conscious level is what you know, it's what you see, it's the brain waves that allow for you to talk, to speak, to be present in all of this, right? You're doing all the work on the conscious level. You're reading the books, you're listening to the gurus, you have your motivational YouTube playlist, whatever. On a conscious level, you might be saying, I feel like I'm doing what I need to do. So where is this thing that I want? Where is my man? Where is my money? Where is this, that, and a third, right? And the question that they come to me with is, what am I doing wrong? To which I always answer, well, what am I doing wrong, or where is it? Or those types of questions aren't really an empowering place to begin the conversation. UTAP's like, yes, where? We must learn to leverage and master universal law and principles. Yes, God created them. They're all around us. Yes, Lord, listen, I get you. I got you. We're going to talk about this today. 99% of the time, the real issue isn't that you're doing anything wrong per se, right? It's that there are subconscious thoughts and beliefs and patterns that you have that you're completely unaware of, and that is running the show. It's been proven time and time again. I wanted to get some citations, but as I was driving home, I was caught in traffic anyway, but there are citations. You can look this up. I mean, there's tons of work by Dr. Joe Dispenza. There's tons of work by the Heart Math Institute. There's tons of work if you take a look at some psychological journals that specifically talk about the subconscious mind. 95% of your life is run by what we call the subconscious, the beneath conscious, the thing that you don't always know exists, right? You've seen that graphic of the iceberg. Let me know in the chat. You know that graphic of the iceberg where you see like the little tip on the top, and then underneath the water, there's like that big thing. It's like, you know, the Titanic, when the Titanic crashed, they could only see that top of the iceberg, but there was that big mass that was underneath, right? Yeah, so we've seen that, right? And there's that big mass that's at the bottom. That's your subconscious mind. It is way, way, way bigger than what you see on a daily basis, which really is just that little peak of the top, right? Your subconscious mind is pre-programmed to do certain things certain ways. So I'm going to talk a little bit about money because for a lot of us as entrepreneurs, as CEOs, as people who want to be entrepreneurs and CEOs, money is kind of the most obvious and the fastest thing to kind of get your mind around, right? So if you aren't making all of the money that you desire right now, it's not because you aren't showing up necessarily. It's not because you're not smart or you're not good enough or you're not capable or, you know, money just hates you. That's not it. It's not because you're saying the wrong affirmations the wrong way or you're not doing your affirmations every morning for 5 minutes like you should be. It's simply because underneath it all, underneath the surface of the conscious stuff that you're doing, your subconscious mind doesn't actually believe that you can have the thing that you want, like, which is money. In this case, it's money. Maybe you grew up with parents telling you that money doesn't grow on trees, or maybe you grew up with grown-ups always fighting around money. So you have a tension, there's a nervousness and anxiety that lives in you around money and finances. Maybe your parents had a lot of money one time and then they just lost it all. And then you went from like a really big house to a little tiny apartment. So you are thinking to yourself, you know, I could lose all of my money. I had a client that I was speaking to in an intensive a couple of weeks ago, and she was saying that she loved to save money. Like she had this almost, I don't want to say compulsive, but almost like OCD issue with saving a lot of money. And I said, well, tell me, like, where did that come from? Why? And she said, well, everybody around me, they were like getting divorced and the women had to like be on their own. And I just never wanted that to happen to me. So I wanted to know that if I got a divorce or if anything happened, I would be able to take care of myself. And then what happened in her doing that is she actually, you know, created her own reality, had to get a divorce, and then had to take care of herself with the money that she had. And it was good. Like she did the best that she could with what she knew how to do at the time. But the reason why her subconscious programming was saying that is because it was the life that she was experiencing around her that was telling her that that was actually a possibility. And I said, well, you know, that didn't need to be something that you experienced, right? You can sometimes call things in because you expect for it to come, right? Maybe, you know, if your parents always argued about money at the kitchen table, especially during the first of the month when it's time to pay bills, then maybe you have some anxiety about paying bills. Maybe you were told, this is a big one, especially for a lot of people that I work with, you were told that you have to work really hard to make money, which is 100% not true, by the way, because the more money I make, the less hard I have to work. And I can say that about all of my billionaire and millionaire friends. The more money we make, the less we actually work. So this narrative that says, in order to make a lot of money, you have to work really, really hard is false. Some of the most hardest working people that I know don't actually make a lot of money. And I think we all can say that. I mean, I know really, really hardworking people that stay broke. I mean, for whatever reason, right? The point is that if there's a subconscious program running through your mind that tells you that making a lot of money isn't available to you, and it requires all of this hard work that you don't want to put in anyway, because who wants to work that hard, right? It's going to cause you, or if you're telling yourself it's going to cause you to make these sacrifices that you don't want to make, or some other crazy money myth that we develop, then you're not going to make a lot of money, because fundamentally you are to make a lot of money knowing that there are sacrifices you have to make a lot of money knowing that you actually believe it's hard work, to make a lot of money knowing or believing that you think you're going to lose it all. To make a lot of money is a fundamental betrayal of your own belief system. So you won't make a lot of money because you don't think that you can, right? Now, I'm not saying the belief system is the right one. I'm simply saying that your subconscious story around money, and we're just using money right now, but this can work for anything. Your subconscious story around money will dictate how much money you make. This is very easy to like notice and to witness, because you can just look at how much money you actually make, like how much money is in your bank account, how much money you bring in a month, and that will tell you what you're energetically aligned with when it comes to your finances. So if you want to make more, then you have to get behind a different belief so that you can raise your, or you can elevate your belief system, elevate your energetic frequency to attract more money. Right? It has nothing to do with your desire for money, right? It has nothing to do with how much you hustle, how many times you host a clubhouse room or post on Instagram or go live on Facebook or do X number of podcasts. Like, it has nothing to do with that at all. It's all your mind, and it is this way for everything in life. When we talk about money, when we talk about business, when we talk about dating, right? Money, relationships, opportunities, love, business goals, whatever, the subconscious story that you're telling yourself will always, always, always dictate your outcome. Okay, good. I'm just looking at the chat to make sure that this is all resonating and there's no questions. Okay, let me know if it's making sense, because I want you to be aware of this conversation moving forward. And I'll tell you why later. There's a lot of stuff that's going to come up during the course of this summit, and you need to be aware of this conversation. We're going to talk about some ways to change this. Absolutely. You want to see me on the main screen. Can somebody put me on the main screen? Is that a possibility? If somebody can just move me to this main screen, just to accommodate the people. I'm trying to be animated. I know. Okay, you can only see the slide. Okay, got it. Is this better? Now that you can see me on the main screen. Okay, so a lot of people, you know, you can have a vision board. I mean, you can be working, you can be doing all the things all the time, and they feel like on the conscious level, it should work. Like, I am doing everything that people are telling me to do. I am reading the books. I'm listening to, you know, the YouTube videos. I am playing the mixtapes of, you know, 428 megahertz of music, or whatever the case is. You're doing all the things that you're supposed to do. But the issue has nothing to do with what you're doing on the conscious level. The issue really is you being it on the subconscious level so that it can integrate, right? And when I say the conscious level, I mean, like I said, everything that we see. It's not that you're not doing enough. I really need for you to understand that. There is something so much deeper. There is a sub under conscious, under what we can see. If the problem you have, you could solve on a conscious level, you already would have. Right? You're doing all the things that you know how to do, especially high achievers like you. So there's often this number one thing that is happening on the subconscious level. And I'm going to give you some practical ways to kind of reframe this and so that you can get to the good stuff. So here is the number one thing I find with my clients and all of the work that I do subconsciously. The issue is that we are always expecting a rerun of the past. On a subconscious level, we actually want it because it is familiar. We want to replay historical data because we know how we can handle historical data. We know that if something goes wrong, we are going to survive. Even though we don't like it, we know what will happen, you know, if we lose money because we might have been in that situation before. We know how we're going to react if something that we launch in business doesn't work out because what we've launched in the past didn't work out, right? New things are unknown. We do not like the unknown. We like familiarity. We know what we can do with the familiar, even if the familiar isn't the thing that you desire. Our brains are forming conclusions all the time, and it's trying to protect us. This is how your brain was designed, okay? When I was 4 years old, my dad used to drive a Firebird car. I don't know if anybody knows what a Firebird is, but it was a Pontiac Firebird. And I might have even been younger than 4 because my brother wasn't born yet. But this is just what I remember. I was 3 or 4. I don't know why I have a memory of 3, but that's just what it is. And you know, back then they did include the little lighter socket things, you know, in the car, the thing that you use to like light cigarettes with. Now they just have the little hole, but back then they actually included the actual lighter. So I was in the back seat, and it was fascinating to me, I guess, at the time. And so I pushed it in, and then it popped out because that's how it worked. I pushed it in, it popped out. I took it out, and it was like this bright orange. You know how, like, have you guys seen this? This bright orange colored swirly of a thing. Now, as a child, you pick something up, it looks bright and orange and swirly and fun. So what do you think I did? I touched it, of course. Now, I touched it with my thumb like this. And I remember it hurt so bad, but I didn't want to like cry loudly because my parents were in the front seat. And if I cried, I would have gotten in trouble. So I just like cried silently to myself. And I put the thing back, and then I looked at my thumb, and I had the imprint of the swirly burn on my thumb. Yes, Tab, this is what happened. I burned myself on that thing. Sorry, I'm just taking a look at, okay, notes. Thank you so much, Anna, for typing in those notes. So I burned it. Now, my brain formed a conclusion that that is dangerous, right? Do not do that again. And for the longest time, I just kept away from that period. Like I didn't want to touch it even when it was in the socket thing, right? It's a protective mechanism that my brain formed. I mean, this is what we do. Can you imagine like touching hot things like that, like touching a stove and then burning yourself and then forgetting that you burned yourself and then going back to do it again? I mean, we would just all be walking around crispy because we would just be burnt all over the place because we're forgetting, right? But we don't forget. Your brain forms these conclusions to protect you from harm. In all of the circumstances of life, it does this, and it is very normal. It is human. It's how God designed your brain. It is a survival mechanism, and there's nothing wrong with it. When in fact, you're using this to protect yourself from danger, right? There's nothing wrong with it if you are protecting yourself from something that is dangerous. However, most of the time, we do this not because something is dangerous, it is because we perceive something to be dangerous because we are unfamiliar with how the outcome can go. And there is a difference. Do you see the distinction? Something dangerous, touching the stove, touching the little hot swirly thing in your father's Firebird, versus I don't know how that's going to work out, but I could fail at it. There could be something dangerous on the other side. I don't actually know if it's something dangerous, but because I think it could be dangerous, I'm not going to do it. Do you see the difference here? Right. So we don't actually know that it's dangerous. We just formed a conclusion that it would be because of past experiences. Right. So do me a favor in the chat and type in, I'm going to drink some water, what your favorite food is. Like when you are craving something good, right? What is the food that you crave? Pizza, Dr. V. My kind of girl. Seafood, crab legs, lasagna, steak. What else we got? Chocolate brownie with ice cream. Oh my gosh, I am gluten sensitive and I cannot have brownies anymore. Shrimp or fish and grits. Yes. Okay. This is wonderful. I love this. Flor said, good old shrimp. Everybody, we like seafood around here. I love it. Okay. Notice everything that's written in the, in the chat box. Right? It is pretty much comfort food. Can we all agree? Like no one's in there like, I would like to order frog gras. That is what the food that I crave. No, we crave food that brings us comfort. There's a reason why we call it comfort food. Your brain knows what it's going to taste like. Your brain knows all of the ooey gooiness of the chocolate brownie that you're going to have. Your brain knows what fries and wings and pizza taste like. Your brain knows the exact hormones that get released, all the dopamine, all the serotonin, all of the fun endorphins that you get when you take that first delicious bite of your favorite food, right? Your brain craves this food because it's craving feelings, emotions, thoughts, even physiological responses you had in the past. You don't actually have the food right now, right? You're not actually eating it right now. But what you're doing is you are remembering, you have a memory of what that food did when you had it before and how good it was to your soul. And that's why you crave it, right? But I mean, sometimes you can even think about this food and your mouth is already watering, right? Raise your hand if your mouth is, or give me an emoji of something in the chat if your mouth was watering, just thinking about your good, yummy food. You may even crave it right now and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, let me order that for dinner tonight because that sounds good. I need some crab legs in my life. I need some shrimp and wings and fish and grits, like, right? Your brain is operating on information from the past, not the present. It's not the present moment. It is information from the past. So I want you to understand that, right? And this is where the tension resides, not the money, not where the money resides, but where the tension resides. If you want to get to where the money resides, you actually have to clear up the tension. Okay, but this is where the block occurs. Okay, you desire to create something new, but your brain has stockpiled all of this information from the past. And the ultimate question is, are you willing to create something different than your past? Right? That's what Mary Had a Little Lamb. Are you willing to create a different experience from the past? This is a question I want you to ask yourself for love and relationships. This is a question I want you to ask yourself for business, for being an entrepreneur. It's a question I want you to ask yourself in your relationship status. Right, this is a question I want you to ask yourself around your bank account, around your career, right? A question you can even ask yourself around your relationship with God. This is a question really your happiness in general, right? Yes, can we get Lawanda to mute? Sorry, that from Lawanda. Just hear everything. Lawanda, okay, thank you so much. So are you willing, and type in the chat if you are you willing to create something different? I want to know. This is important. Willing to create something different than your past, something different than you've experienced before, something different than you've thought about before, something different than you've seen before, right? Okay, good. And the reason why I wanted to talk about that first before the rest of the entire summit is because on the surface, right, it may not seem like this is an actual like dangerous or you know, vicious thing, right? It doesn't appear to be all that insidious, right? The fact that your brain is recreating its own reality based off of the reality that it experienced in the past. It doesn't seem like it's that bad. I mean, if you just create the past over and over again, I mean, it's fine. You're here, you're not dead, right? You're alive. You might have a job. You know, you might have a family, like everything is okay. Like, so it's, if you recreated your past experience, it doesn't seem all that bad. It seems all right. But we don't want all right? We want to elevate. We want to expand. We want to live in overflow. We want to experience the highest and best that God has for us. And if all we are doing is recreating the things of the past, we're just never going to get there. So not understanding that your subconscious, the number one subconscious belief that's holding you back is this belief that all you can ever have is what you've had in the past, is in fact extremely dangerous because it's creating and recreating from your past experiences, and that's going to hold you back. It holds people back every single day. It may have held you back already and you have no idea. Some of you aren't currently going all in because on the subconscious level, you are expecting and you are afraid of a repeat of the past. Maybe you tried launching a business and it didn't work out. And so you're like, I can't do that again because the last time I failed and I was embarrassed and it didn't feel good and I wasted all this money and, you know, my friends made fun of me. I lost my husband. I mean, whatever the case is, right? And so when you're doing that, you're not creating from a place of possibility and potential, because beneath the surface, you're expecting essentially just more of the same, more of the past, more failure, more disappointment, more it's not going to work out, more I can't have it, more somebody said I couldn't, somebody said I shouldn't, somebody said I wouldn't, right? This is why some people in business aren't doing sales calls right now, because maybe everyone else that you've spoken to on the sales calls have said no. Right. This is why some of you haven't even started a business at all, because the last one that you started failed, or because you not even, sometimes it's not even you, sometimes it's a friend. The friend that started a business failed, right? Some of you aren't diving into new relationships. You're afraid to fall in love because your heart was broken so bad, it took you forever to heal. And on a subconscious level, you made a contract with yourself to never be that vulnerable again, right? So you're making these contracts, you're making these terms and conditions, you're deciding these based off of past hurts and experiences, and not based on possibility and potential of what you truly, truly, truly could be in the future. Yes, a contract with yourself. There are so many contracts that I made with myself in the past. And doing this work and really diving deep and digging in, I mean, I remember things from when I was 7 years old, making contracts with myself. I remember things when I was 16, things when I was 25, things when I was turned 30. I mean, making contracts with myself over and over again based off of failures and hurt and disappointment, and then telling myself I never want to experience that, so I'm just not going to pursue it. I'm just not going to open up to the possibility that this is something that I could actually enjoy. And we do it all the time, Ramona. That's the thing, is we do it all the time. And so this is really a great time to begin to set new terms and conditions, create new contracts with yourself moving forward. This is, something that only you can do, right? And like I said, you can apply this to all areas of your life. I mean, I can continue to give you dozens of examples, things that you do today that are really based off of past experiences that aren't serving your future. Now, they are serving you because they may be protecting you, or in your mind protecting you, right? When I was talking to another client, we were talking about money, and I talk about money a lot. And she said, we were talking about, she wanted to make $40,000 a month. That was like her goal, is $40,000. I said, okay, we can make $40,000. She said, there's no problem making $40,000 a month. Talk to me about what you're going to do with the $40,000. And so she's writing out all the things that she's telling me what she's going to do. And I said, okay, based off of this list, you don't actually need $40,000. You need $8,000. That's how much money you need to live this life, because the rest of the money you are just kind of like stockpiling for a rainy day. And a lot of people do this because we have a fear of managing and holding large quantities of money, because we think at any given moment we're going to lose it all. From whatever storyline, we think that all the money is just going to run out and we're going to lose it. So I said, you're stockpiling $32,000 and then using $8,000 to do things with. And money is currency. It likes to be circulated. It likes to be spent. It likes to be used. Money is a tool. Money is a resource. It doesn't want to just sit there all the time. And I asked her, I said, how much money, what is the highest amount of money that you've actually made in a month? And she thought about it and she goes, $8K. And I said, well, there's no surprise there, because the contract that you made with yourself is only to live an $8,000 life. So if you made a contract with yourself that I'm going to live an $8,000 life, then all you're ever going to experience is an $8,000 life. Now, to some people, that's a lot of money, and I get that. But to others who have a desire to make more money, you're not going to get to the more if the contract that you're making only allows you to live in this small, limited capacity. And we do that with all areas. I talk about money, like I said, because it's easy for us to get our minds around that, but we do it in more areas than just money. And that's what I'm saying. I can give you tons of examples around this, the things that you feel called to do, you're not doing, or you are running away from, or you're suppressing because you're too afraid to show up and experience past failures, past heartbreaks, and past losses. If we don't fix it now, then you're just going to continue to repeat it, right? And we don't get out of life what we want, we get out of life what we expect. And if this is your expectation to just live a repeat of the past, well, no wonder why things aren't working out, right? The current life you're living is just feedback. It shows you a mirror, really, of what's on the inside. It shows you where your mindset is around money. It shows you where your mindset is around love and dating and relationships. It shows you how successful you truly think you can become in all of those areas. This is it. Take a look at your life right now. What part of your life don't you like? And then ask yourself, why do I think this is all that I can have? Because it really is a conversation about worthiness, which we can't dive into now just for time's sake, but that's really it, right? So the affirmations that you're doing and all of that, yes, it's great to pay lip service to all of it, and to the vision boards and to the prayers that we pray out of desperation. It's good to do that. But the real test, right? The real test is what you're experiencing, because as a coach that primarily focuses on mindset, your current experience tells me all that I need to know about what is going on internally, right? So here is my challenge for you over the next few days, and I'm going to open it up for some Q&A. Here's the challenge. You're going to hear a lot about a lot during the course of this summit. You're going to hear new things that may throw your entire world completely upside down. You may get golden nuggets that cause you to challenge everything you believed in, and your brain is going to be like, nope, I am not doing that. It's going to say, danger, 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 danger. That's too new. That's too different. That's too unknown, right? When in fact, it's not dangerous at all. It's just something that you're not familiar with, right? So let's just say that. something that you're not familiar with, the challenge is to open up and to lean in to all of the new, because beyond everything that you've experienced before is this really great, amazing, big, beautiful life that is full of all of your hopes and dreams and desires that God gave for you to have anyway, right? I don't believe that God gives us desires just because he wants to dangle carrots in our face and be like, here's something that you could have, but just kidding, you're not. I'm just showing you so that you can try, but I'm not. Like, I just don't think that God does that, right? So do this leaning in process, experiencing the new stuff. Do that without expecting it to be the same as before. Yes, for example, you may have participated in other summits. This is not that. You may have heard talks on mindset before. This is also not that. You may have learned about real estate. I think there's a real estate panel that's up after me next. This panel, you have not heard from these women before in the same way that you are hearing from them. Free yourself from past experiences and past expectations and set new intentions for what you desire now, and then watch God move heaven and earth for you. That's really what it's about, is trusting and believing that God has something so much better than what you've experienced in the past. And then trusting and believing that he sees you as worthy of that because he desires to give you those good things. You can't afford to not do it. 57 years. That's right, Ramona. You better say that. Yes. Okay. So come to the table. I think I want to say it's like Buddhist. I feel like it's Buddhist. There's a Buddhist saying that, you come to like God with an empty bowl of rice, or a rice bowl that's empty, right? And that empty bowl is really for God to fill. So come to the table with an empty bowl. Be available for new experiences, be available for new insight and new connections, and then fill that bowl with all of the new stuff, and then watch things happen for you, right? Be aware that your subconscious mind has been there your whole life. It has decades of information from your past just stored up, all the hurt, all the pain, all the process and all of it. We get that. And we love ourselves through those moments, and we are compassionate with ourselves in those times when the pain and the hurt resurface as a defense mechanism. But we also know that God is bigger than all of those things, and God can heal all of those things and still give you hope for a future, right? The good news is that here today, right now, you are fully in your power. You can choose to create a repeat of the past, a familiar, past, if that's what you want, what one would call your comfort zone, right? And I always say comfort zones are not actually comfortable. They're just familiar. We know what they're like. And so we've learned to build a home there. So you can continue to live in your comfort zone, and that's fine. That is a choice that you get to make as you stand in your own power, right? Or you can create from a vision of the future. You can see your future before it ever actually happens. You have the creative faculties that God gave you as you are created in the image of God, and you can call the end from the beginning because you're seeing the vision, and you can draw it closer to you every single day if that's what you want. You can create your future from this vision that you have, and by the time you get there, it's more of a familiar future than like an unfamiliar, I don't know what's going to happen. You can know exactly what's going to happen. You just have to decide, right? Who do you want to be? How do you want to be? Who would your future self want you to be right now? And that is a decision that you get to make today. Really amazing things happen when you open up to new things. I mean, the last week, let me tell you something. I have no idea sometimes how things, I do, like I am present and I'm showing up for my life. But some of the things that happen to me, I'm like, is this real life? Like, is this person really in my DMs asking me about that? I've gotten I can't really speak on them now because I feel like I'm under some sort of NDA or something, but like I've gotten so many interesting opportunities just over the last week. And who knows if they'll materialize, but I am open to all of it, right? And I know that my future self desires for me to be present and open. And like I said, it's a decision that you get to make right now. So whether you choose to believe this today, February 11th, February 11th, 2021, this is actually a very powerful day energetically if you believe in that stuff. I won't necessarily go into the science. But February 11th is a very powerful portal, right? It's a day where it's almost like if you set intentions, the intentions that you set today are almost magnified tenfold because of there's a new moon and there's all the woo-woo stuff. The point is it's a very powerful day, right? So I don't think that it is an accident or a coincidence that Michelda would desire to host this conference and it would kick off on this very powerful day when you are now opening yourself up to new possibilities. So what intentions will you set for this time? Will you approach it like every other summit? Right, where you kind of attend, you kind of listen, you're half-hearted, you might take some notes, you might not take some notes, right? Or will you come to the table ready to receive because there is something you are being called to expand into in this season? There's something you are called to do, to experience, to desire. There is something. Now I'm going to give you 3 homework assignments. I'm going to open up the chat for any questions. If you have questions, go ahead and type those in. But I'm going to give you 3 assignments. I love homework. Everybody that's worked with me knows homework is my jam, but it's fun homework. It's really, really good homework. Good Star sees her future so clearly, showing up for her future self today. I love it. Okay, so here is your 3-part, yeah, thanks, Michelle. Your 3-part assignment, if you are up for it. Number 1, I want you to get what you came for, right? Some of you have come to the summit already knowing you looked at the landing page and you said, yes, I want to learn about relationships. That is for me. Or yes, I want to learn about love. I want to learn about starting a business, building a business, getting into real estate, building a brand. What I want to learn about those things. So I am signing up. Some of you know exactly what you came to the table for, and that's fine. And then some of you have no idea. You just felt called to sign up for this and you're like, it sounds good. There's some awesome speakers. I'm going to show, I don't know what I'm here for, but I'm here for something, right? And then a speaker is going to say something that just rocks you to your core. And you're going to know, you're going to be like, yes, Dr. Tracy said that I'm going to know the exact reason why I'm here. And that person just said it. And now I know, and you're going to write it down and you're going to remember it, right? But do not leave this summit. Do not get off of the calls. Do not leave until you get what you came for. That is assignment number 1. Okay. Assignment number 2 is I need for you to do your part. As you listen to the speakers, what do you feel led to do when you hear them speak? When they say, because they're all going to give you actionable items, strategies, steps. They're all going to do that. They're not just going to come with some fluffy things. I've read the bios of all the speakers. Michelda is an incredible networker who has a vast network of wonderful individuals who are very good at what they do. They are going to come to the table as the bosses that they are, and they are going to deliver 100%. I am sure of it, right? So when they deliver, you have a part to play in that. So you need to listen to what they're saying, and then I want you to write down what you feel led to do when you hear them speak. And then you are going to show up for that thing. You're going to show up for, if somebody says you need to save $10,000 so that you can, buy this piece of land, or if somebody says you need to be on Instagram 97 times a day, whatever the case is, and you're like, that feels like what I need to do. You write it down and you commit. You commit to doing the thing that you said you're going to do. That is your part. Your part in the process is showing up for the thing that you are supposed to do, right? Yes. What do you feel led to do when you hear the speaker speak? Yes. And then the last assignment is, and I just talked about this recently on my Instagram and in a podcast, is you are going to let God fill in the gaps. I actually have it up there on my wall. It says God, or grace to fill in the gaps. That you're going to let God's grace fill in the gaps. You may be completely overwhelmed with the amount of information that you're going to get, right? You may feel like, okay, where am I going to start now? What am I supposed to do? I don't know how to do that. I don't have that. I don't have that website. I don't have, that e-commerce background. I don't know how to source material. I don't know how to do mindset work. I don't like whatever. Okay. You may be completely overwhelmed with what you hear. And that's okay. And this God fills in the gaps concept is something that I always lean on, right? Like I said, I have it written on my wall. I've had it written on my wall for the last 5 years since I started my business. when you have done all that you know how to do, and this is why it's really important for you to show up, because I do not think that God sanctifies laziness. I don't think that God rewards laziness either. So I think that there is diligence and there is dignity to work and to you showing up, to doing your part, right? But when you have done all that you know how to do, and that's your part, and you're like, I did it, Tracy. I wrote down what I felt led to do, and then I did it, and you did that, then you gotta let God take care of the rest of it, right? Micromanaging your future is not a mood. Trying to control everything is not the vibe that we want. That is not what we want. We want to live in the freedom of creating and co-creating with the Creator himself and allowing him to take care of the things that we don't even know, that we're not even aware of, while we're still showing up to do our part. And what's really interesting about this is that you may think that nothing is happening. You may think like, well, I'm showing up to do my part and nothing's happening. I don't see it manifesting. I don't see it materializing. But there is always movement that you cannot see. God is always working in the background to get things done in your favor. I mean, because it is for his glory and your favor. So it's, why would he not? Like, what benefit does God get out of your failure? Like, if you fell flat on your face, like, how does God get glory in that? Like, he doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Now, are there teachable moments? Sure. Do we sometimes, like, does God squeeze us and then squeeze us out a little bit more so that we can get a little bit closer to him in the process? Yes, absolutely. But like, your eternal failure is not God's design. I promise you, right? I promise you that. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was saying that he is doing this, it's like a local newspaper is doing a piece on him. And they asked him for his favorite quote. And, you know, he's a Virgo. And so his favorite quote was something to the effect of, victory comes to he who prepares the most, or something like that. It was like something like, basically like, prepare yourself and then victory is going to come. Like, do, you know, all the steps. And then I was like, well, that sounds like you, because that is very much his personality. And then I said, do you want to know what mine is? And he said, yeah, I do. And I said, my favorite quote is by Rumi, and it says, live your life as if the universe were rigged in your favor. And he was like, that sounds like you. And I said, yes, it is me. Because I truly, truly believe at the core of my existence that God has a plan and a purpose for me, and it is not to fail at life. Like, that is just not God's plan. I truly believe that things are aligning even when I don't know it, that he is working things out in my favor because he says he does, that I'm meeting the right people at the right time, that I'm in the right place at the right time, that I am doing the things that I'm supposed to do, and I'm showing up for the things that I am called to do. And then God is kind of in the background taking care of the rest. And that is grace. It is God's grace that allows for me to do the work that I do, even when I shouldn't, even when all things sometimes seem like they shouldn't work out and they do anyway. It's God's grace. Even when I have no idea, or I used to, I'm a little better at this now, but I used to have no idea how I would end up in rooms or in circles with people that had been doing certain things for decades and decades. And I'm like, how am I even here? Why am I here? It's just God's grace that gets to show up so that I can do the thing that I'm called to do. And I want you to do the thing that you are called to do, okay? So the summit is going to be so much fun, okay? Here's a bonus assignment, I guess, since we have a little more time. Write down 3 things you intend to take away from the summit. It doesn't matter what they are. It doesn't matter if you're like, I intend to just relax. I intend to learn about this. Like, write down 3 things that you intend. This is for yourself. You do not have to share this. Write down 3 things that you intend, and then watch those kind of make themselves manifest as you listen to the speakers. We're going to have a lot of fun during this summit. I'm excited and just honored to be here with you. We have a whole gang of bosses that are going to be pouring into you. We have a panel of men tomorrow night. My goodness, I mean, you are in for a treat, right? But I promised I would leave time for Q&A. So if there are questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer those. We do have a little bit of time here. Let me know in the chat if you have any questions. because I'm here for that. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope that I was able to serve you with this information. And if there's anything that I can ever help you with, please find me. I'm Tracy Timberlake everywhere on every social media platform. And if you love the mindset stuff, then let me tell you, proximity is power. I just said this to a client yesterday, proximity is power. Sit in the energy of someone who has a high vibe mindset and your whole life will change. It doesn't have to be me. I'm saying somebody. Sit with someone. Sit with someone who has a high vibe mindset all the time and your whole life changes. But in case you do want to hang out with me a little bit more, I have a new free training coming up on mindset called the Self-Made Mindset. It's coming up in the spring. And let me get, I can put it in the chat here so that you can sign up for that for whenever it is ready. It'll be in the springtime. I'm not exactly sure on the date and time, but I will definitely let you know if it is something that you are interested in. Let me get the Zoom back up on my screen. Okay, there you go. So there it is. Yes, any questions before I turn it back over, because I think our panel starts at 3:15. So I am on time. Just want everybody to know, mark it, I'm on time. I'm so glad, Karen. You're so welcome. You are so welcome. It was an honor for me to be here. Good. I'm glad. No questions. I feel good. I feel like I did my job. Then. Okay, I will turn it back over to our moderator, or to our host with the most for now. But thank you so much for joining me.
You
Thank you
guys,
for having me, Zelda.
hello, thank you. Oh my goodness. Listen, I know we are getting tons of virtual claps. Come on, I want you guys to light up the chat with the thank yous. Was that not amazing? Oh my goodness, Tracy, thank you so much. I took so many notes from that section, so many notes from that, realizing that, you know, there are so many subconscious mindsets that we put in play that we don't even allow ourselves to move forward to the next level because we're still replaying old habits, old levels of comfort, old things that don't serve the future that God has already destined for us. Oh my goodness. Are y'all excited? Like, I am literally sitting here with butterflies in my stomach. I guess you can see now why she's my mindset coach, right? I guess you see now why she is the person that I'm like, okay, she is about to help me get my whole life together, and she always does. So thank you so very much, Dr. Tracy Timberlake, Miami, Florida. Please, by all means, and I want to encourage you, I don't have a scarcity mindset. So let me just say that I do not have a scarcity mindset. Connect with these speakers. If there is someone that speaks that makes your baby leap, listen, go connect with them. Get into their programs, follow them, do business with them. I definitely want to make sure that you are growing to the place and space. So this is open. I want you to feel free. There may be something in my voice that connects, great. There may be some, I don't care. We are not that tribe, right? This is the tribe that says, I want you to find what you need to get to the place that you are supposed to be in so that you can grow and then do your part to impact the world. And if we are all doing our part to impact our sections of the world, do you guys realize how much change can happen? Oh, I need some finger snaps for that, right? Because if we are all in our space doing what we've been uniquely called to do, whew, what an amazing place that would be in. So definitely make sure you are connecting with all of the speakers and, you know, purchasing their stuff, supporting them, because I do believe that it will help you so much. Well, guys, I am excited about our next panel of entrepreneurs, of presenters. Let me just tell you why I think this is important. I firmly believe that in the next 4 to 6 months, that there will be an even greater opportunity to participate in real estate like never before. I do believe that there will be an even greater opportunity to participate. I'm saying that again, in real estate like never before. I do believe that we are going to begin to see so much opportunity in how we have the availability of programs for research and the availability of services within research, whether it's purchasing your own property or participating in what I believe is one of the greatest resources of residual income. And that's either buying and flipping or buying and holding, but really having access to any type of real estate that you desire. And so I wanted to do that. I'm an investor, and I know that even when there's some moments, I believe in multiple streams. I build my main thing, but I'm also an investor in real estate. And I wanted you guys to really, from both perspectives, right? We're going to talk about home ownership, how to get there, but I also wanted you to understand the investment model. So I want to bring up our panel group. And I will moderate this discussion on real estate and the current buying and selling culture. So our first guest is my friend and my sister. She's from Alabama as well. And I'm not sure why it still shows Tracy on my screen. I don't know if I'm looking at something wrong, but anyway, she's my friend and my sister. And she is quite amazing, from Alabama. She's a dynamic entrepreneur. She is known for bringing a unique element of vigor to the business industry. Her acumen is valued and trusted by many. She holds a degree in business management and is currently working on her MBA from Columbia University. Her expertise has gained her international respect from diverse audiences, both domestic and abroad. And when you couple that with her passion for business and philanthropy, she also founded Favorite Dolls in 2015. That's one of her brands. Favorite Dolls is a multifunctional apparel and mentorship program that equips both young ladies and women with the tools necessary for personal development, empowerment, and self-acceptance. Serving many throughout her community under this umbrella, Bridget shows no signs of stopping. She is a proven commodity. And then we have, yes. Go ahead, give it up for her. Give it up for her. Give it up. I love it. I see the hand claps. And then my next speaker. Listen, I am so in love with just this young lady's personality. I just got the opportunity to really connect with her via Clubhouse. And when I tell you professionalism bar none, she is a diva and is totally running the real estate game in Houston, Texas. She's a Houston, Texas native and a successful franchise business owner. Kimberly Letman is an example of living in the fulfillment of your dreams. In September of 2000, her career began as a real estate agent, and it would be this career path that affords her the opportunity to assist in making the goal of the American dream an attainable reality for many. It would also gain her credibility throughout her community. And after 16 years of reaching and exceeding projected sales goals, she would be presented with yet another entrepreneurial opportunity. And that entrepreneurial opportunity, I'm gonna let her share because she does and wears multiple hats, very well known in the Houston market, very well known worldwide now, nationwide, because she has definitely put her footprint and her mark, Miss Kimberly Letman. So let's welcome both of them to the stage. Let's make sure we are diminishing the slides now. And then let me put my glasses on because y'all know I can't see. And I need to be able to do this interview in the right way. So hello, Bridget, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Michelda? Thank you so much for this opportunity to share today.
Listen, y'all ladies are slayed up in here today. Thank you for joining me. Hey, Kimberly, how are you, my dear? Let's get Kimberly off of mute.
Okay, sorry. Hi. Oh my goodness, sorry. Listen, when I tell you the Eastern Standard Time threw me off just a little bit, so I had to call your assistant. I was like, wait, I'm putting the blouse on. So, forgive me. I am so sorry, but I'm here. Oh my God, I'm super excited to share this moment with you.
Listen, I love it. I love it. I appreciate it. I kept thinking about that as we were preparing the material, that people are on all kinds of different time zones and, Pacific Central and all this other stuff. So no worries. We are glad. And you know what? You're just the life of a CEO, and that's how we make things happen. So I have introduced you and I've read your bio, but I would like for each of you, and Kimberly, you can start first. Tell me,
Sure.
why did you get started in real estate? What was that draw for you to get started in the field and profession of real estate?
Sure. So first, let me just say, Michelle, that you look absolutely beautiful. I saw your little thing on Instagram, and I was like, yes, ma'am, give it to us today. So anyway, I just wanted to say that you look absolutely beautiful. And again, thank you for this opportunity to share this platform with you and all of the amazing CEOs and there's the people that are listening in on this conversation. So to answer your question, it's crazy that you asked that question, because after being in real estate for 20 years, people just kind of started asking me that question more and more often here lately. And so a little bit of history, nobody in my family is a realtor. Nobody in my family has any type of background. So I didn't have like an aspiring, like there was nobody I was like, oh, I want to do what he does or she does, right? But anybody knows me knows that I'm a realist. And so crazy enough, I was sitting in college, junior college, sitting in the classroom, and I kept thinking to myself, man, there has got to be a quicker way to make the kind of money that I know I want to make, right? The right way, right? And live the lifestyle that my family and parents had afforded me, and to live, better. And so I just started doing my research. And the truth is, I was 20 years old when I got my license. The truth is I really believe it was God. I believe he just pointed me in that direction and said, real estate. I did my research. I took the classes. I took I took the exam, and here I am 20 years later. So I don't know if we lost Michelle, because I don't see her anymore. Is it just me?
Nope, I'm here.
Where are you at? Oh, there you are. I saw all kind of other people. Okay, I saw somebody in the car, and I was just like, wait a minute, what are we doing? Okay, and I just kept talking, trying to stay focused. Okay,
no,
I'm sorry. So I hope I answered that question as far as how I got. So there was no real, I think people look for this crazy answer, to be honest with you, or something that just sounds so, that's the screen I need right there. I can only see you and not nobody else. I think that a lot of people again have different ways that they may have navigated or got, or were aspired to enter into a particular field or industry, or, how they arrived at that place. But for me, I really, really, truly believe that it was God ordained. I just think it was him that directed me in that path, to be honest with you. So.
Listen, I appreciate that. I want to ask that same question of you, Bridget. Tell me, what was it for you that made you decide on real estate?
Awesome. As Michelle did say, I am originally from Alabama, but I'm here currently residing in the sunny side, South Florida, here in Fort Lauderdale. And so one thing I have always wanted to get into real estate. Everything for me was just the timing of doing it. So I finished one thing, accomplished one thing, and I was like, I want to get into real estate, because me and my husband have always talked about investing and flipping and getting into that wholesale and things like that. And I always said, I want to be in position. I'm like, Kim, nobody's in my family is a realtor. No one is doing real estate. No one seemingly has interest of real estate, but I've always had that entrepreneurial business spirit about me, and it's always been spoken over my life. And so when I really began to hone in on that, I just went for it. God's like, now is the time. And so when he told me it's the time, I just went for it. You guys, it was seamless. I passed my state exam the first time. And if you know anything about Florida, it's very hard. 50% pass rate as of October 2020. And so I just literally went for it. And so I'm excited. I would really want to promote financial literacy in the Black community. That's really one of my drive. That's really one of my why. And also set up a legacy for my sons. I have boys. I'm a boy mom. And so I really want to build that legacy for my sons. So if they don't decide to go to college, I've already got something set up. I plan to obtain my broker license within the next 24 months. You know, I want to be able to set them up something if they can walk straight into a business right after high school.
Man, that is amazing. I am here for all of that. I am so excited. So let me start off by asking, and I've just got a couple of questions because I do believe that this is a great season for real estate. This is a great season to begin purchasing. If you have not, or if you're in the market to purchase, this is that time. But so many, you know, what happens is we get to this phase of being ready, but we're really not ready. We've not done the work. We've not prepared ourselves, right? And so I want to help because I am believing that there is in this transition and funding and programs that are being made available for first-time home buyers and lowered interest rates and properties that may become available even through foreclosure, that this is a great opportunity for you to buy. So my first question is, from an overall perspective in your profession, what is the climate? I've given my view of the climate from the outside looking in, but what is the climate for home buyers, and what expectations should they have if they are now entering this home buying market? What expectations should they have? And I see you, Kimberly, so you can go ahead and answer.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted me to go first. So that is a great question, Michelda, and you really kind of answered it a little bit, but here is what I have found. Now, again, I don't know how it is for my sister in Florida, because we're in the South. I have lots of friends that are in real estate in Georgia, you know, Alabama, etc. And of course, I know Dr. Delane Smith in Florida. So I will assume that really kind of across the nation, we're all experiencing the same thing for the most part. But I know in the Texas market, the Houston area, it is a seller's market. And it is an aggressive market. And so the supply and demand is there. The builders cannot build fast enough. There is low inventory. And so because there's more buyers, right, looking for something, and there's not enough inventory on the selling side, right? So what does that really kind of, translate to? So what that really means is and even for our investors and cash buyers, here's what's crazy. And I'll say this and turn it over to my sister to speak from her perspective in her market. This is the market, and this is the time that if you desire home ownership, you are going to have a strong financial portfolio. Strong. Your credit needs to be strong. Your reserve needs to be strong. You need to be prepared to offer full price, if not above asking price. That is the market we are in. I am seeing sellers getting $30,000-$40,000 plus above list price, and the homes are appraising. I have some agent friends who have received 30 and 40 offers on a property. We're in a multiple offer type market. And so the days of negotiating and lowballing, honey, they are not here, and it'll be a minute before they come back. And so because we have historical low rates, interest rates, of course, that's part of the driving force for the market as well. So if I had to just say, sum that all up, and again, if you're an investor, if you have cash, even if you're going with, even for my first time home buyers, but listen, if you get into a multiple offer situation, sellers are looking at the fact that you are going FHA, and they're like, no, they're looking at conventional, and they're looking at cash offers and kind of pushing our people that are, and I'm just being transparent and honest. So I'm not trying to deter you or make you feel some kind of way, but what that really should prompt you to do is to work just a little bit harder to position yourself credit wise and reserve rise, meaning have more money saved up, right? And get your credit score at its highest and best, and keep your DTI as low as possible, so that you can position yourself to potentially go with conventional finances versus FHA financing. So that's a little bit about what's happening in my market, and I'll hand it over to my sister.
And listen, let me just say this before Bridget comes. I want to address what you said, Kimberly. This is not the space where we are sugarcoating. I want people prepped and prepared so that when you go, you are ready, you are armed, you have the information, and then we unlock things along the way, right? We're not taking away God's ability to do anything, but we want to have information so that when we go out and we start, pursuing this, we know exactly what to do. So if you have questions, you can go ahead and start typing them in the chat. Bridget, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. I concur with everything my sister Kimberly said. It is absolutely insane. I had a realtor partner the other day, had a buyer approved for $480,000, and the listing agent asked her for her buyer to put $48,000 in escrow, 10% in escrow. Hands down, that's it. So it is a very competitive market. Everything that she said. Let me give a little bit more detail and context of where you need to be as far as a conventional loan. Your credit score needs to be a 680 and above to be in the conventional space for loans. Even for those that have student loans, I know that's a big thing for a lot of us that may have been fortunate to just pay cash or got scholarships. The thing about it, when your credit score, she talked about being in position, when your credit score is where it needs to be and you're able to go conventional, if you can get in an income retention program as far as your student loans, it's like the loans never exist when you're going into your pre-qualification stage. So it's really all about positioning. As she said, having that escrow. There are major programs going on. The government has released a lot of funding for first-time home buyers, but you still must be able to qualify. That means you gotta have a job, you gotta have work history, you gotta have finances, you gotta have something, a couple of $1,000 at least saved up, depending on the type of purchase and the amount that you qualify and how much you desire, how much home you choose to purchase. Those are things that you gotta know from the gate. And home ownership is an investment. And I'll let Michelle get to that before I get ahead of myself.
Well, listen, I think though you guys have made up a good point, and so I want to stay on target. I want to deviate a little bit as well. But you guys said so many nuggets there, because really one of the first things you've got to do is you need to know your credit score. I am so amazed at the number of people who do not know their credit score. And so let me say this while I'm saying that. Credit Karma is not what is going to be the score that is communicated in the home buying process, right? You cannot go by that credit score. And so before I move on, do either of you want to speak to that? Because I see so many people that will pull this Credit Karma report and they don't realize that that's not your FICO, number one. That's not the one that the underwriters and the lenders are going to look at from the real estate market. And so then when they walk in, their feelings are hurt because they thought, and that Credit Karma score is typically about 15 to 25 points, if not more, higher than what the real estate, the FICO scores, and all the, in the words of my friend Bridget and such, that they look at. So you've got to make sure that you are and understand your credit score. Who wants to speak to that?
I'm going to let Dr. Bridget talk about the credit portion. If I can just say this and I'm done, Dr. Bridget, you can have it. I just want to make sure that what we're relaying to you guys, that don't let that, what's the word I want to kind of throw you off or be like, oh my God, you know what I mean? I don't want that to not disencourage you, right? Here's what we're telling you and what it really means. It just means that it possibly may take you a little bit longer, right, to get to the end goal, but you still have an expected end, right? So, and I don't mean to sound churchy right now, but
Sound churchy, honey. We churchy
but
up in
I
here.
just want to, but I just want to encourage those that are listening to us on today in this particular segment. I want you to be encouraged again. The knowing your credit, understanding money. Everybody doesn't value the dollar the same. You know what I'm saying? And so I know people have been hearing, get your credit, get your credit. Do you know what a credit? You have to understand credit. You've got to understand how it works. You have to understand the algorithms. You got to understand installment loans versus you know what I mean? Versus what's the
Retail.
other one? Thank you.
Retail
Versus
card.
credit. Thank you. Versus, you know, the other one, I couldn't even think of it that fast. But nonetheless, you just got to understand that stuff. And so when you get a clear understanding of how credit works, right? Credit card utilization percentages, things of that nature. So I know I'm speaking Dr. Bridges' language. And so I'm going to let her have the final stab at it. But I just wanted to just make sure that, and so let me tell you, so as long as I've been doing this, right? Lastly, I'll say this. The truth is it wasn't until I got a divorce and I was forced to really face my credit and have to rebuild my credit and rebuild myself, right? And that was just 2.5 years ago. Hello, somebody. I ain't always been where I am, but it's taken me this amount of time to get to the position I am, to get my credit score to the place that it needs to be, right? I've had the cash, but I didn't have the credit, or I had, you know, does that make sense? It was never seemingly in alignment. And so I just want to make sure that no one walks away feeling like, oh my God, that's not something I can obtain, or it's not an obtainable goal. It is, but what we're telling you today is going to help posture and position you so that when you do, like you, I was going to say, Dr. Michelle does, I'm gonna call you anyway, just say what it is. Dr. Michelle said, when you enter into the process, you don't go in blindsided and you're not caught off guard, and you know, you're not, so then you coming back to Michelle for prayer, honey, to pick you up off the floor because your feelings is hurt and your face on the ground. But listen, we told you, you got to know what your credit score is. So anyway, I'm done. Go ahead, Dr. Bridget.
Yes, so I want to just add this. I believe knowledge is power. Education is so important, and the more knowledgeable that we are as a community, wherever space you're in, whether you're the multimillionaire, whether you're the person just now getting started in entrepreneurship, I want to be able to speak to all of that. What you need to know is that on the lending side, it goes by the middle score. What is the middle score? When we say the middle score, you have a score with Equifax, you have a score with TransUnion, you have a score with Experian. For example, if your Experian is 700, your Equifax is 650, your Experian is 680. 680 would be considered your middle score, okay? And so it's the one that's in between the highest and the lowest, that's the middle score, whether it's Equifax, whether it's Experian, whether it's TransUnion. Whichever one falls in between the highest and the lowest, that's what the mortgage lender uses to qualify. Is that making sense? Did everybody catch that? Because I know a lot of people are really confused. Like, what is the middle score? You thinking like, oh, well, my Experience is my middle score because you got these 3 different scores. No, it's the score that falls in between the highest and the lowest, whether it's your Experience, whether it's your Equifax, whether it's your TransUnion. Whichever score falls between the highest and the lowest, that's what the lenders consider your middle score. You want to make sure that it's tight. The stronger your credit score is, I'm sure some of us have all made foolish mistakes. I'm like my sister Kimberly, I've had to recover and recoup, and God had to restore my life, and I had to start over and build my credit up. And so now that I'm more wiser and not making foolish decisions and making sure I pay my bills on time, that is so important that you build reputable credit history, so that when you get into those situations, when you come to the qualifier, when you got to go to the underwriter, you got a lender or you got a mortgage loan originator that can fight for you, that they can look at your payment history, say she paid her bills on time. We can have her just write a letter of explanation, because it gets very tedious, but that's another story. Go ahead, Michelle.
No, I absolutely love that. So thank you so much. So here's what I want to leave you guys with as it relates to this credit score, right? Information is power. you have 3 credit review places, right? You've got Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You can get 1 free credit report with a score. I think the score comes with it as well, per year from each of those, right? So what you need to do is you need to request only 1 at a time. What I find is people will go in and request all 3 at the same time. That's your free for the year. If you are working on bringing those scores up, request, and I'm gonna tell you the one that I think is the harder one to go up is Equifax. Right? It takes
Really? I
Equifax.
think it's TransUnion.
Do you really?
I do. I'm sorry.
Equifax.
Yeah.
Listen,
Well,
let
Equifax for
Equifax
me.
be
Yeah,
working
my
me.
Equifax, my Experian is my highest. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And so here's what I recommend. Purchase 1, TransUnion. Wait 3 or 4 months, do some work, purchase the other one. Wait 3 or 4 months, purchase Equifax last, because then you'll be able to kind of see some of the results along the way. It may not take you all of that. It may not take you 6 to 9 months, but definitely make sure you are doing the work. Make sure that you are putting in what needs to be done so that you can move to the next level. Now, you guys mentioned something about entrepreneurship and business owners. I remember one of the houses that I bought, I was able to do stated income. So I bought this amazing house, at the time, my dream house, and I bought it on stated income. After that, we've had the 2008 crash. We had so much that happened. What would you say now to entrepreneurs, full-time entrepreneurs who may or may not have W-2 income? What is the best course of action now for them to be able to purchase their dream home or to purchase property? Kimberly?
Dr. Bridget, you want to? Sure. So I am her. So
Yes, go ahead, sis.
I am her. Sure, I am her. And so you all will be happy to know, and I'm going to let Dr. Bridget expound on it, because she just is doing an amazing job with giving those details and explain it a little bit better than I can. There are now loans, the stated income loans are back. So you'll be happy to know that. Michelle, I don't know if you knew that, but if you did, if you didn't, yes, they are back. And so along comes with that, you have got to listen, you've got to have your affairs in place. So everything has to make sense, right? So they're going to ask for bank statements, right? They're going to ask for tax returns, okay? So I am a tax professional, and so how that coincides, and so where I learned the hard lesson is that a lot of times as self-employed people, business owners, entrepreneurs, we have a tendency to do excessive deductions and itemization of deductions, and we try to write off as much as we can, right, to keep that tax bill to little as possible, right? And so here's what I tell people all the time: you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? So you can't write off all your income and then say, I want to buy a house. How are they going to qualify you for a loan if you don't have any type of income reference, right? They don't know how much, so yeah, you may have made 100,000, but if you wrote off 90 of it, come on, you know what I mean? So it just has to make sense, right? So all of that good stuff has to make sense. So I just wanted to say that program has come back, and it is working. I am a recipient of it and will be purchasing my first investment property. I'm super excited about it. Yes, I'm super excited. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Bridget.
All right, Dr. B.
You pretty much summed it up. I know in some cases there is where you don't have to provide the W-2s, but they want you to have your tax transcript, so to speak. And so it is a little bit more detailed when you are a stated income employee or a 1099 employee. They do kind of want to see the receipts, but long as you can produce the receipts and the bank statement that she said aligns and makes sense, you would be well on your way. And then it just, everything depends on who you know and who you're working with. Because some people, one thing I'm learning in this business is that all lenders are not privy, or some lenders may do this, like certain lenders don't
Absolutely,
do grants.
absolutely.
Certain lenders don't do grants. So I encourage you, even when you get ready to get into the home buying process, do shop around for lenders. Don't just get one quote, okay? Because some lender may know some things and know how to get through the back door, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And may be privy to information that, one of these really prestige lenders say, well, I don't do grants. Well, I don't do this, So you want to shop around and see who's well versed in your type of situation. If you are that 1099 entrepreneur CEO, you want to make sure that, hey, I'm working with a lender that they kind of specialize in this. Like, I would go to Kimberly because she's a 1099 employee. She's an entrepreneur. She's a CEO. She knows exactly how your taxes need to look and how everything needs to align. So you definitely want to align yourself with that lender or with that tax professional that can tell you how to go about navigating that process and make sure everything is in order.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So while we are in this space, we've got about 2 minutes. Are there any questions? Any questions to anyone? And what we really want everyone is to be encouraged in the process, right? This is all about realizing that it is a process and to approach it with the right frame of mind, to be sure you are prepped for this process. And I'm excited because I know I've been covering some of this stuff with my Water Walker mentor group, and I know that you are going to be ready to purchase your homes by the end of this year, middle of the year, whatever is that time frame for you. But I want you to also do it from an educated standpoint where you know what to expect. And I will just say, make sure you find an agent that will partner with you in the process, that is not too busy to answer your questions, right? We want to make sure that you have someone that understands your needs and will really walk you through, right? We want to make sure you've got the right person that's concerned about your needs. So any final remarks, any final words, lady? In fact, I want you to give final remarks and final words. And then what is the one thing that you would say to that person who is prepping, who is ready to move to that? Oh, there's a question. Okay, so what about building on air property? You'd have to be more specific. Do you guys understand what she's asking? I would probably need a little bit more specific.
Go ahead.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, go, Dr. Bridget, do you understand that? Maybe
So that is, are you meaning that you inherited this property?
right. That's what I was thinking.
If you inherited this property, there is a title deed search. You got to make sure the clouds. Well, let me get out of the real estate language. You got to make sure the title and everything is clear on that, and there has to be some type of documentation as far as with the county, as far as the deed, as far as the title that needs to be properly transferred, making sure that there is no, it cannot be taken away from you. It cannot, somebody can't come in and build on it. You just got to make sure the parameters, there's called air, you got air rights, you got littoral rights, you got all of those types of rights when it comes to real estate. So you got to make sure that, the deed is, there's no cloud, there's no anything on the deed or the title that will, come back to bite you. I wouldn't do anything unless I knew that title had no liens, no clouds, no judgments, anything of that sort on there before I build anything.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And then Dorothea asked, what was the process you said could be done so that student loans do not affect your qualifications?
Okay, so here it is. So if you choose to go conventional, this is what I want to say. If you choose to go conventional, I have an amazing broker, Elite Realty Partners here in South Florida. She was giving me jewels. She was giving me gems, educating me all the time to make sure we always are on point. I want to give a shout out to her for sure. What she was sharing with me even last night, she was saying that,
Bridget, you froze.
Yeah, she did. Oh my goodness. She was like right into it too.
She was. Okay, so we will have her come back when she gets back in to put that response in the chat because she has
Back.
froze. Oh,
There
there
she
you
go.
are. Okay, so
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. It's like this Xfinity is glitchy. I'm sorry. So 680 credit score for a conventional loan. And so what you can do, Dorothea, and for everyone else that is in the same predicament, you need to reach out to whoever is servicing your loans and see about entering into a income retention payment plan. Sometimes I'm in one myself, and so my payments right now are currently $0, right? So once you reach out, they will ask you for your income. There are certain papers that you will have to fill out to enroll in that type of program, but definitely it is available. It is available. And so when you enroll in the income retention plan program, whatever payment they give you, it could be $1. That's where how it does not, in the conventional space, it does not affect you. In the FHA space, FHA takes 1% of your total student loans to calculate in when pre-qualifying you. So it's an advantage for you to want to get that credit score up 680 and higher, so you can go conventional if you got over $100,000 in student loans. I would recommend the FHA could be the best optimal way for you to obtain home ownership. So knowing your options, knowing your ability to navigate loans, and I just want to say cash is king for the investors. For those that are in position financially, CEOs that have the reserves, looking to invest in property, cash is king. When I tell you, I was dealing with the cash buyer just a few weeks ago, and it gives you the power to negotiate when it comes to, I have cash. Will you accept $120,000 for this property and you asking $150,000? You understand what I'm saying? It gives you power, and there are motivated sellers in this market. Let me say that for those that are in position already to make investments.
Awesome. What is the best company to get your FICO score?
The best company, you need to go directly through that website. Go directly to Experian.com.
Oh, yeah.
Go directly to Equifax.com. Go directly through TransUnion.com and get your scores. I would not really use the secondary sites per se,
Sure.
because it's not going to give you the most accurate reading.
Okay.
I agree.
Thank you. Thank you both. What are your thoughts on NACA loans in this market?
Would that be NACA? Is that what they're talking about, Bridget?
Yeah, NACA.
So to be honest with you, at one time here in our market, it was very, very popular. But I don't see them as often or as much. So I can't really speak to it. And I haven't serviced anyone, believe it or not. So I don't know much about it, to be honest with you, because I haven't seen it. It really has not been, I don't know. Do y'all use it in South Florida?
Let me tell y'all, NACA is a hidden gem for.
Okay. See, we don't. I don't.
It's not. You don't hear a lot of talk about it.
Yeah,
you don't hear a lot of talk about it. But people that have tapped in and access, I know people that went through NACA, went through their little program.
Really?
They're paying they're paying 0.1% interest on their mortgage.
Wow. Okay. I definitely need to look into that.
Yeah, and Kimberly, they actually have a program like as realtors where you can actually become a NACA realtor.
Now I have heard about that as well.
Yeah, so it could be a hidden gem. It's another resource per se, but they take you through, they really walk you through that extensive credit counseling and get you in position to be able to purchase the home.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you. Such valuable information. I am so excited. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being a part. You guys definitely connect with these ladies. You can follow them on Instagram. You can find them Instagram, Facebook. I'm sure all of the social media hubs. So definitely make sure you can go to michellejohnson.com and you will find their pictures and bios and all of that there. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it, ladies. Thank you so much. Y'all,
you.
this information, I know that you are probably taking copious notes, that you are looking at everything that is going on and saying, wow, I was not expecting this much information. But can I tell you, we are in the information flow. So one of the things that is really important for me is that we are supporting Black businesses. We are supporting Black business owners. I know we are just in that mode where it's so important for me. And so frankly, I could not have a summit, especially after someone who is truly influencing the entrepreneurial space, providing strategy to clients all over the nation. It is important for me to make sure that I allow space for entrepreneurs. So certainly operating in a space of a new virtual reality, I wasn't sure how this whole vendor spotlight thing was going to work, but throughout the next few days, we will have a vendor spotlight at least 2 times per day in the schedule. And each vendor will have the opportunity to provide their 1-minute elevator spiel to the room and then answer any questions from the attendees. This first session, though, all you will see are videos. All you will see are videos of the speakers. You'll see their slides scroll through. And we'll have a little bit of music behind it, but you'll see their slides scroll through as we do and take a break for about 5 minutes to do a vendor spotlight. Let it rip.
Living my life like it's golden. 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 Golden. Living my life like it's 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 golden. I'm taking my own freedom, putting it in my song, singing loud and strong, moving all day long. I'm taking my freedom, putting it in my soul. I'll be high stepping, y'all, letting the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden, 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 golden. I'm holding on to my freedom, can't take it from me. I was born into it, it comes naturally. I'm strumming my own freedom, playing the God in me, representing His glory. Hope He's proud of me. Hope He's proud of me. Living my life like it's golden, 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 golden, living my life like it's golden, 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 living my life like it's golden, 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 living my life like it's golden, 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 living my life like it's golden, golden. Living my life, living my life, living my life like it's golden. It really matters to me. Oh, it's golden, 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 golden. Living my life like it's golden, 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 golden.
All right.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we can walk it out. Ooh, mountain, we can walk it out, and mountain. And I rise like the day. I rise up, unafraid. I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I rise up, like the waves. I rise up, in spite of the ache. I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. The silence is quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we would take the world to its feet. Ooh, I won't take, bring it to its feet. Ooh, I won't dance, and I rise up.
Listen, I don't know about y'all, but I was looking at some things that I want to purchase. So I am excited. You will receive an email. All of our guests will receive an email with the contact information and links to be able to go direct to our vendor site to purchase. I was looking at that last little bit, and I was sitting here. It said, I am enough. Oh my goodness. Can somebody help me just breathe in a little bit of goodness, a little bit of goodness, a little bit of goodness, a little bit. Can somebody breathe in a little bit of all of that and just say, I am enough? I love that. Listen, I need to just sit in that moment. Anybody want to sit in this moment? I'm going to get in trouble because I'm going to jack up the time. But listen, I need to tell you that you are enough. Listen, we have been told so much. True story, true story. I have an uncle, and I'll say this in tribute to him because I lost my uncle earlier this year due to COVID. Last year, end of last year due to COVID. He was always teasing, always joking. My family is very direct. But one of the things that my uncle said was simply this. And I say this because I know my family, and I can say this, but I'm saying this because sometimes these are the things that truly shape our thoughts about ourselves. I remember I'd gained a little bit of weight. I still got it. I was feeling a little bit of self-consciousness. I was not comfortable in my own skin. I wasn't quite loving myself. Yep, y'all keep saying I am enough, because I want you to say it, even as Tracy was talking about today, until you totally change what that subconscious thought about yourself is. And so I remember, even in my own struggles of gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, this too big, this too this, that too that. You know how we pick ourselves apart in the mirror. I cannot be the only one. And so even as I was going to visit my grandmother and he was there and I walked in the door and he said, have you auditioned yet? Now my family is full of jokesters, right? And I said, audition for what? And he said, the way you look, I would have thought that you were auditioning to be a linebacker for a football team. Now I laughed it off. I played it off. I continue because I know my family. I know how they joke, right? But you know what? When I got to a quiet space in my home, I realized how diminishing that was for me. And I realized how that began to stab, how I began to replay that over in my mind, and how that began to set this stage where I felt like I wasn't enough, that I wasn't quite ... And you fill in the blank, because I know I cannot think I'm the only one that sometimes you allow yourselves to go through these phases where you say, I am not enough, that I don't, that I'm this and I'm that. So I need to reaffirm you today. You are enough. I am enough. I see you, Tab. I see you, honey. Listen, I see you, honey. I'm trying not to even cry, because as I thought about that moment, I know that created. So I found myself, and every time people say things, say certain, it causes us to shrink and to shrink and to shrink. And I need you to blossom out even on today. You are enough. Now I'm gonna get in trouble because I just jacked up the whole schedule. I know it. I'm sorry, but you know what? I needed to stop in this moment to let you know you are enough. Whew, that feels good to me. Sit in this moment for just a second and just say, I am enough. I am so sick of people telling us we're not skinny enough, we're not fat enough, we're not light enough, we're not black enough, we're not curly haired enough, we're not straight haired enough. Our feet are this, our curves are this, my boobs are this, my hips are this, my that, my this. And we take all of that and then we compare it against, oh my goodness, we compare it against this whole thing of how others, and comparing ourselves to others. You are enough. You are enough. I think the most insulting thing that you can do to God is to compare yourself to somebody else. See, as she talked about that thumbprint, as she talked about burning it and searing it, what went through my mind is that your thumbprint is unlike anybody else's. That your thumbprint is what was made to stamp on the earth, to impact the world. It is your thumbprint. And if I am constantly recreating my thumbprint to be like my sisters, or to be like what everybody expects, or to be this or to be that, then I am insulting my Creator. And none of us want to insult our Creator. So come on, breathe with me. Come on, keep saying it. I am enough. No, my hips may not be able to model the finest and the smallest. No, listen, I put on a dress today and I said, I can't go out in this dress because they seeing too much. But even in all of that, I am enough. It doesn't matter if my hair is slick, dyed, laid to the side, if it's chemical peeled, if it's curly, if it's natural. It doesn't matter. Listen, show up in who you are. I am enough. I'm trying to leave this, but I need to stay right here because I need somebody to realize you are enough, my friend. You are enough. You are wonderfully and fearlessly made. When God made you, you broke the mold. You are the epitome of what God wanted to put together in the name of Joanna, in the name of Bridget, in the name of Krisha, in the name of Adrian, in the name of Sherlonda, in the name of Latasha, in the name of Star, in the name of Flora, Ramona. You are enough. Kayla, you are enough. Amber, Angel, Anjanita, Angela, you are enough. Woo. You are enough. It doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter the bloodline that was used to bring you here. It doesn't matter the DNA that was used. It doesn't matter. God knew, and he made sure that you were right where you needed to be. Dr. Cornelia, you are enough. Dr. Angela, Wesley, you are enough. Dr. Tavis, you are enough. You are enough. You are enough. Dorothea, you are enough. Latasha, you are enough. You've got to know that, because some of you, Tab, are missing the greatest seasons of your life because you are still living in the moment and the point of comparison. Candace, you are enough. Tanya McCoy, you are enough. Stella, you're enough. Oh my God, you are enough. LaDonna, I see you. You are enough. I'm trying to make sure that you realize you are enough. Michelle, you are enough. Make that commitment to me that you will not go back to being a fake substitute of who God has created you to be. I am with you, Dorothea. I feel the presence of God. I don't know where you are. I don't know what city, state you are in right now, but I know that the presence of God transcends. Dr. Zoe Shanks, you are enough. Brigitte, you are enough. I feel an amazing presence of God. And I'm so honored. Thank you, God, that he showed up. Not that he hasn't been here, but that he just blew the wind of anointing across this digital space, this virtual space that we are in, and that we could all be in. Is 50 us on here. We could all be in 50 different places. And even if you are tuning in on the replay after it's all said and done, thank you, God, that even in that moment, you will realize you are enough. Krisha, I'm not cutting your time, honey, because they need to hear it. Now, y'all know what I got to do. Let me find my eyes. Thank you. Somebody just lift your hands, close your eyes, and just tell the Lord, thank you. Thank you, Lord God. Thank you, Lord God. If we had time, I'd play Worthy. If we had time, because you need to know you were worth it. You are worth it. You are worth it. Thank you, God. Let me get these glasses and spectacles on so I can move us forward. I am worth it. So our next speaker is someone who I had the pleasure of meeting through Clubhouse. And what an amazing experience it has been. When I met Krisha Sarah Bowen, I met someone with just a heart to serve. I met someone passionate about purpose and with a depth in the subject that knows how to transform and create a positive vibe around the question that even I, as a consultant, receive often. What am I purposed to do, and why am I here? Krisha Sarah Bowen has a voice, and when she speaks, it is with power. It activates purpose within the individual and creates this ongoing dialogue to answer the deepest questions related to our why. She's a career and life stylist who has devoted her life to helping people make deliberate lifestyle choices to live the life they love and love the life they live by design. Krisha lives by the life's mission of influencing thought to change behavior. This mission governs all the activities of her life and allows for a seamless blend in the way she functions as a life, career, and business coach. As the founder of the dynamic movement and same title book, Purpose Diaries, Krisha has now successfully built a borderless global business serving today clients from the US, Australia, Canada, Jamaica, and her native homeland, Trinidad and Tobago. Krisha will continuously function from her purpose, helping others to push past pain and passionately pursue their purpose. Joining us live all the way from the beautiful island of Trinidad, my sister, my friend, Krisha Bowen.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Michelle, for that amazing, amazing intro. I feel like I'm here like, who is she talking about? Is that me? It was amazing. Listen, the rain is trying to give me some competition in Trinidad. So at any time, Michelle, if you guys can't hear me, please let me know so I can put on some headsets so that the audio is clear. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for creating this space. I've enjoyed everything that I've heard so far. It has been powerful. And there is something about when people get together with one mission and one objective to uplift and to motivate each other. I think it creates a beautiful synergy and an amazing space. I love you all too. So I want to begin by telling this story. And this story comes from, it's a case study, a social experiment that was done with a man by the name of Joshua Bell. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard about Joshua Bell, but he's a violinist. And they did this experiment to cause Joshua to play on the violin. Joshua was playing a violin that was valued at $3.2 million. And he has an amazing skill set, known as one of the top violinists in the world. So what they did is that they put Joshua in a Washington subway to play this $3.2 million violin with his skill sets in a subway. What they realized was that after 1 hour, Joshua collected in his violin cover $32. Top violinist in the world. Violin valued at $3.2 million. And the only thing that people gave him in that subway totaled $32. Now, the experiment says that prior to this day, they had a Boston concert with Joshua as the featured artist. And Joshua Bell commanded a packed out audience that paid nothing less than $100 per ticket. And they paid him $60,000 per hour. Same Joshua, same talent, same violin, different location. In the subway, Joshua made $32 in an hour. In the concert hall, he made $60,000 in 1 hour. Same gift, same person, different location. When you know your purpose, you establish your value and you treat yourself differently. This is a question of positioning. Sometimes we have $1 experiences as it relates to our life and our relationships because we position something rare in the wrong places. Rare thing, wrong place. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes we have $1 experiences in our life, career and our business, because we position a rare thing in the wrong place. And this case study told us something about positioning, for his gift was not valued in the subway. It was valued where people knew who he was. So he was in a place that it was unknown. Nobody knew who Joshua Bell was. Nobody knew his talent. Nobody knew his instrument, and his tool was valued at $3.2 million. But in the concert hall where people paid and they knew his value, he made $60,000. What am I saying to you today as it relates to your purpose? For many of us, we have devalued ourselves because we've put a rare thing in a wrong place, but it has not been intentional. Sometimes we don't assess and appreciate our value. So we end up, like Joshua Bell, in this experiment with a rare gift in a wrong place. Now, every time I say something today that you think is good, just as you would say amen when you're hearing preaching or I want you to just type in the comments, slay. Slay. Every time you hear something good that I've said today, I want to see those comments go off. Slay. Slay. I see you guys. Slay. So remember, you are a rare value. But now we have to look at the placement, because your placement may or may not be in the right place, in the right position. Let's go a little bit deeper into talking about purpose. Your purpose started in the mind of God. So at your birth, it was not the beginning of your purpose. Your purpose started in the mind of God. The purpose for something is the reason that it exists. It is why it was created, which means that purpose must come from an originator before it is established. Purpose must come from an originator before it is established. So we cannot conjure up or create our own purpose because we did not create ourselves. Which means that we have to go to the originator and the establisher. And establishment means law. It cannot be changed. When something is established, it is set up in a way that it cannot be changed. So I am God's history that is already established, that cannot be changed. Rare thing, wrong places. I am God's original intent established, placed on the earth for a purpose. And what he's put on the inside of me, it cannot be changed. So in essence, I am God's history. And I see you guys with those slaves. I love it. It gives me energy. I love it. I love it. So I am God's history. He has completed me. The beautiful thing that I love about my favorite book of all times, it is a bestseller and it's called the Bible. I don't know if you know about it or if you've ever read it, but it's my favorite book. And I will make a ton of reference today to that book. I suggest if you've never read it, it's a good book to buy. But when Jesus stretched out on the cross, one of the things that he said was, it is finished. It is finished. So I did not start at my birth. I began in the mind of God. And when I complete his assignment on the earth, that is when I'm finished. So purpose is not time specific. It is about the life and the assignment of the life. So just like Joshua Bell, a special gift with a special tool, we have to know the right positioning for a rare gift, or we will put a rare gift in the wrong place. Dr. Miles Monroe says it like this. He says, anything that does not have a defined purpose in abuse is inevitable. If you have not defined the purpose of a thing, abuse is inevitable. And I want to title my teaching today in this workshop, But First, Purpose. You guys can go ahead and type that. But first, purpose. Now, I'm an 80s baby, and there was a song that came out, not a Christian song, and it says, but first, let me take a selfie. So they talked about everything that they were going to do, but they said, but first, let me take a selfie. So today we're going to talk about, but first, purpose. So we understand that we are rare gifts, rare treasures, and we have to ensure we are in the right places. So if I am God's history, it means that I am already completed and I am working backward. He isn't. I am living his history and I am now coming into a discovery of what I already am. So I'm already it as it relates to God because I started in his mind and he saw me complete and I'm already it. So when I came into the world, I was already it. I was already sent to the parents that I have to be born in Trinidad and Tobago for a specific time to meet the people that I've met, to influence the people that I've influenced, because he said, let me make man, let me make Krisha in my image and after my likeness, and let us give her the dominion and the ability to transform the earth until earth looks like heaven, because she's a piece of me. And because she's a piece of me, she is a rare value placed in a place that does not know her value until she knows her value. So we came into the earth not knowing the fullness of purpose and our value, but a rare thing, this treasure in earthen vessel, the power of God that's in us. So this rare thing came to this strange place. And the strange place tried to pervert and to distort the rare value inside of this gift that God has given to the earth. So I want you from today to begin seeing yourself differently, because you are of rare value and you are a gift to the world. God said, let me give the world you, not you, it. Let me give the world you. And when you understand your value and your purpose, you live differently, because you know that regardless of how many people are doing what you are called to do, there is no shortage, no scarcity, because we are all of rare value. So let's dive a little bit deeper into this thought of purpose. So we understand that purpose began in the mind of God. At my birth, I did not begin. I began in the mind of God, and I am already history. So at my birth, I came into the world already being it. But what happened is I went through this growing process in life. And as I grew through life, people started telling me who I was. My parents started telling me who I was. We went into the school system and school started telling us who we were. And friends started telling us who we were. Or we started to camouflage and to change to fit times and spaces that we thought were relevant for our life. And we lost the essence of everything we came to the earth with, which is purpose. So I want to give you this theory today, and I want you to follow with me. I know that God has given me an ability to share things, to influence thoughts, to change behavior. When I change what I'm saying, I change what I'm doing. And when I change what I'm doing, I change who I am. So I want to leave some thoughts with you today to just change what you're seeing so you can change what you're doing, so you can now become who you already are, because you are already it and you are already purpose. Your very life is an existence of purpose. So sometimes people think purpose, these trumpets are going to blow and angels are going to come from the sky and say, dun, 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 this is who you are. This is who I've called you to be. And we make purpose this mystical kind of mystery thing when God established it so beautiful and so rare and so unique, and put you almost like a stick of dynamite waiting to explode on the earth, because he gave the earth you as a gift. So let's talk about how a rock is formed. And I hope you're following with me. But first, purpose. So a rock is formed by a smaller piece of rock or some type of matter or material that already exists. And then there is compression. So there is stuff that comes around the rock and it begins to compress and the size begins to grow based on the compression of matter and material around it. So when God created us and he knew we were already it and he gave the world us, he breathed himself into us and he breathed his potential, the ability to become. So all potential is the ability to become a thing. It's already on the inside of me. But remember, it's like dynamite that's dormant, waiting to be ignited so my greatness can be shown on the earth. So this small matter is already on the inside of me. When he breathed into me and he said, let us make man, and he breathed into me and he put himself in me. This matter was already on the inside of me. But remember, we talked about a rock, compression. So experiences happen, painful things happen, life happened, and there was this compression on that seed. There was this compression on that matter. There was this compression on this thing that was deposited on the inside of you. This compression on the purpose that you already have, already possess, you are already it. And there's this compression that became a rock. So in my favorite book that I told you guys about, it's a book called The Bible. I don't know if you've ever read it, but if you've never read it, I suggest you get a copy. Best book you'll ever read. So in this book that I live my life by, it's full of principles and it's a book of multiplication. If you use its principles, your life will multiply. So in this book, there's an account of Jesus walking with these men, his disciples. And there's one called Simon Peter. And in Matthew 18, 16 to 18, that little chapter of the book, it talks about Jesus asking them a question. And this question was, who do men say that I am? So what is the word on the street about me? What is the word? What are people saying, right? And they begin to say, some say you are this one, some say you are that one, some say you are this one. Because people will always have a tendency to call you by your issue, but you are not your issue. That was just an experience. That was just a period of time. That was just a rare thing in a wrong place, but you are not your issue. So people have a tendency to label you by these things because that's what they see, and they call you by your issue, but you are not your issue. So he began to ask them, and he began to say, but who do you say that I am? Who do you say that I am? Simon Peter. And he began to answer, and he said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus said unto him something that is powerful, something that he's saying to us right now. He said this powerful thing, and this powerful thing was, flesh and blood did not reveal this unto you, for you got a revelation of who I am. And he said, upon this rock, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not be able to prevail against it. Upon this truth, upon this revelation, I will build myself upon this revelation. And I call you Peter, which means rock. And I'm going to build my church upon the revelation of who you see me to be and who you see yourself to be. So remember we said something about rocks and stone and how it's formed? There is a small matter and then there is compression. So could it be that the revelation of my purpose allows God to build on me? And he says, upon this rock, upon this revelation of purpose, upon you seeing who you are, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not be able to prevail against your purpose, because you are already it. So could it be that the pain that crushed and it caused me to squeeze? And could it be that my passion, and could it be that my likes and my dislikes, and could it be that my experiences, and could it be that everything that I went through created a rock? But I need to see God accurately, and I need to see myself accurately. And upon this rock, he will build. Upon this revelation, he will establish this great thing, because purpose is not about us. Purpose is others-minded, others-focused, and others-centered. So it's not about me, but to understand my purpose, I need a revelation of him. And upon this revelation, he shall build a structure. He shall build a building upon this revelation of who you are, the good, the bad, the ugly, the things you did not like, the pain, everything that caused the compression that is your life. You are already it. And upon this revelation of you seeing yourself correctly and seeing God correctly, he's going to build. So what am I saying to you today? That this purpose on the inside of you, when you begin to get a clear revelation of who you are, God begins to build on that revelation. And your purpose will always evolve. Listen, 6 years ago when I was working in HR, I worked as an HR manager, and they came into the office one day and they said, Krisha, we need to meet with you. And as I was called into the office, they said to me, you will no longer function as HR. We're going to change your title. We're not going to touch your salary, but we're going to change your title, and you will now function in this capacity. And let me tell you, outside of my title, I had no idea who I was. Grew up in the church all of my life. Both of my parents are pastors. I'm a 4th generation minister. And I had no idea who I was, because church was a ritual and I had no relationship with God, and purpose is founded in relationship. So because I had no revelation for myself, no personal revelation, I did an act. But the act did not show me who I was, because I need revelation to know who I am. And that's when I asked the question. And the question was, God, who am I? Outside of this title, outside of this position, I worked all my life, got all of my degrees to reach the pinnacle of what I thought was success in this position. And now you've taken it away from me. And I asked him one question, and I said, God, who am I? And then he said unto me, Krisha, you will help others push past pain and passionately pursue purpose. And that was the revelation that he gave to me. And as he gave me that revelation, I begin to see this is who God is, this is who I am. And upon that rock, so upon my insecurities, upon me being introverted, upon me not wanting validation and affirmation, upon that pain that seemed to be pain, that seemed to be everything that made me feel deficient, upon that rock, he began to build and call this thing called purpose. I'm telling you today that whatever you're overlooking, it is compression of a rock that has been put on the inside of you, that is waiting to be exposed and waiting for you to get an accurate revelation of it, so that you will know that this thing on the inside of me is purpose. But first, purpose. Machelda, I don't know if we have any questions. Let me know. Give me a time check. I don't know where I am in the time. But your purpose is essential. Listen, I'm a single CEO, and I would have wanted, like many of you, to be married much earlier in my life. But I say it now that I'm glad that I wasn't before I got the revelation of myself, before I got the revelation of my purpose, before I begin to see who I am. Because had I not known my purpose before getting into relationships, I would have messed that person up and myself up just because of putting rare value in wrong places. Just like Joshua Bell, who played a $3.2 million violin with a skill set that is impeccable, that commanded $60,000 an hour and got $32 an hour because of rare thing, wrong places. To my single CEOs, I want you to know your purpose so that you don't put a rare thing in a wrong place. I want you to understand your value so you know that you are not validated by any other person but the Creator himself. And once God validates you, then you don't need man to validate you, because you start looking like the Creator and not creation. You start getting that revelation of who you are, and that person that comes to walk alongside you Pray that they have the revelation of who they are. So when you come together, it is a beautiful match, a beautiful alignment, because it's two people who realize the rock of revelation that they are, and then they build together. So now my prayer is very different. I used to think I was perfect, and me being single it meant that God was still working on whoever he had to work on. Like, I had it together. Listen, I'm working at my job. Now I have my business. And 2 years ago, I made a decision in my life to focus on getting wisdom in the area of relationship. Any area that you shut God out of, it's an area that he doesn't have access to. So your investment of time today, it is your investment into access, so that you have now welcomed God into the space and you got information so you can now do better and be better in this area of your life. So now my prayer is very different. I say, God, make me. Give me a revelation of me. Make me better. Maybe I'm selfish. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I'm not positioned. I need you to make me. But first, purpose. Come on, Mashelda.
Listen, it's the but first purpose. I just want to pause there because that is so important, because we start seeking so many things, but we haven't done the first thing, the essential thing. We have not did the but first purpose. Wow. Thank you so much. Listen, we're going to pause here for just a little bit. Krisha, I don't even know what to say, because every time you speak, you blow me away. Every time you speak, I walk away with so much that now I've got to go back and recheck it, recalibrate it, and make sure that everything I do is but first purpose. And the reason why I say that is because so many times people are spinning their wheels and they're spinning their wheels and they're doing this and they're doing that and they're wondering, why don't I da 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 da, and they're going da da da. But first purpose. And when you begin to know who and what you were called to, who and what you were called for, who and what, then you don't, but first purpose. I just had to say that again because that is so powerful. So we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we want to go into our vendor spotlight. I am so excited. Of course, I told you that my goal was to make sure that we are creating opportunities for our vendors to have and to speak. And so our second vendor spotlight, we do have a live vendor. And each one will have an opportunity, as I said, to share their elevator speech. So I want to bring up Preach the Game and allow him to give his elevator speech on his product, his services that he offers. And I'm just honored to have an opportunity to know him and for him to be able to share. And then after he finishes, then we will go into the slideshow again so that you can see the names of the vendors and capture those names. So I will say to Keisha, bring up his slide and preach the game. It is on you, sir.
All right. Hello, hello. Y'all hear me? You hear me clearly? Everything's
Yes, sir.
good?
We can hear you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. How you guys doing? My name is Quentin Vills, and I am the owner and operator of Preach the Game. And this is something that God has graced me to create. In 4 short words, how you play the game is you spin, you pick, you think, and then you preach, okay? So what you'll do is you'll spin a spinner. After you spin that spinner, whatever it lands on, you will wind up picking from one of these 6 categories, okay? After you pick from that category, you'll have a minute to think about what you want to preach. And after that minute is up, you'll have a minute to preach what comes to mind, okay? Most Christian games within themselves are all about Bible trivia. So it's about John 3:16, Matthew 6:33. But this game is not necessarily about what you know, it's about what's on the inside of you. So that's the niche. You might get a card like, you might get a slogan, and the slogan would say L'Oreal, because I'm worth it. And so you would have to preach because I'm worth it. Okay. Okay. Or you might get a quote. And the quote says, kingdom benefits without covenant relationship. So you might have different ways or different thoughts or different little spots. Last one I'm going to say is a parable. The parable says, worship is to God's presence like a router is to Wi-Fi. So you have different thoughts, you have different things, and it's more up to date for believers. So definitely, I want you to get in touch with me. Go to www.preachthegame.com. Follow me on social media platforms at Preach the Game on Facebook, Instagram, and I even got a YouTube series. I would love to connect with you guys and do something with that as well. And let's link up. Thank you so very much for allowing me on your platform. I am a single CEO as well, so I would love to connect with all of you guys, and thank you so much for your time. God bless.
Well, listen, don't leave so fast now. Wait a minute. Dakisha, you have to stop me when my time is up, because you know I'll start talking. So www.preachthegame. Listen, go support it. Go buy the game. Go buy it. And so when they purchase it, it'll just be shipped out. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it'll be. You'll wind up, I get the email, and then I will get it shipped out and get it shipped out on tomorrow.
And so this is a game that unlimited number of people can play, right? So this is great for church groups, singles groups, family groups, whatever, unlimited number of people. I love it. So let me ask a question. Where did it come from? Tell me what made you think of this game?
Okay, the funny thing about it, this game actually started from a Sprite bottle. From a Sprite bottle. As I was going to throw the Sprite bottle away, the Sprite bottle said, obey your thirst, just a slogan. And I said, man, I could preach that. I said I could preach that. And then I just, threw the Sprite bottle away. But then later on, I researched, and then I started finding all kind of different slogans. Like you said, the L'Oreal, because I'm worth it. Hallmark, when you care enough to sing your very best. It's like different slogans. I'm like, man, I could preach all of that. And, just begin to write it down. And lo and behold, now it's a game by God's grace.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Wow. So how long have you had, and how long have you been an entrepreneur?
Well, as far as the work that you see, that's 5 years. All of this is 5 years worth of work, just getting it together, putting it together. But as far as being an entrepreneur, I've only been one entrepreneur for 2 years. As far as really getting out there, selling it, really hitting the pavement, I would say, to do it. COVID kind of, hindered me from really getting out there, getting to conferences and things like that. But now, I'm trying to connect and network and get with people so I can kind of get more out there.
Listen, I love what you said, right? Because people think I love the, what is that, Beyonce? I woke up like this. Can I tell you, I did not wake up like this. And so I love what you said, right? This has been 5 years in the making.
Right.
And I'm excited. We'll connect offline. I've got some contacts that I want to share with you. We'll do some YouTube and we'll do a live together to give you some traction. But guys, listen, go support our vendors. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you as well. And thank you for participating in our summit. I'm loving it. Just make sure, connect with me on my DM so we can push you a little bit further, okay?
Amen. Absolutely. All right, you guys. Y'all have a great one. I'm still here, but y'all have a good one, okay? God bless.
And what's the website again?
It's www.preachthegame.com. Preach the game. Yep, absolutely. Yep, I think Miss Bridget got it right down at the bottom. I'm going to even put it in there myself, put it in the chat box, and you can go and connect and do all that as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Dakisha, you can run to the rest of the slides.
Say I'll never be good enough. you always say the right thing to make me hurt. But I don't hear you, 'cause I'm listening to his words. And he says I am beautiful. And when I fall, it don't matter that I'm not perfect. I am beautiful. I'm not alone. And in his eyes, I'm so worthy. I'm worth every tear and every scar. And even when you say I'm not, he says I'm beautiful. I deserve better things. He says he understands. I do what's right for me. And he says I am beautiful. And when I fall, it don't matter that I'm not perfect. I am beautiful. I'm not alone. And in his eyes, I'm so worthy. I'm worth every tear and every scar. And even when you say I'm not, he says I'm beautiful. He says I'm beautiful. And I'm worth every tear and every scar. And even when you say I'm not, he says I'm beautiful. It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. Hot air balloon that can go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy, I belong. If you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy, I belong. If you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy, I belong. If you know what happiness is for you. Because I'm happy, I belong. If you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy I belong. If you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy I belong. If you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy I belong. If you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy I belong. If you feel like that's what you want to do. Come on, bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down. Your love is too blew me down. Can't nothing bring me down. Bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down. Your love is too blew me down. Can't nothing bring me down.
All right, all right, all right. So we are getting close to the end of our day, and I am so excited. I'm just going to bring my sister back, Krisha, and we were talking, and as we were putting together the schedule, she said, "Listen, I need to interview you." And we're going to talk about purpose and how that impacts this conference, how this the summit, and where we are, where we're going. And so I thought, okay, well, let me surrender myself to this interview. I'm not sure with her where we're going to go, but I am going to surrender myself to it. Thank you so much, Karen. I see your comment. Thank you so much. I hope you all have enjoyed this. If you have enjoyed what you've experienced so far, will you just put a 1 in the chat for me? I just want to know where you are. We've got a full day tomorrow, and we've got more on Saturday. We are just in the beginning stages. So thank you so much. I see the ones. I'm so excited. Thank you so much. So Krisha, Yeah, so now you're gonna put me on the sofa, huh? So I don't know if I need to bring my tissue box or what I need to bring, but I'm on the sofa. Let's go.
Good, good. So first, I want to tell everyone a little bit about you. You know, one of the things about you since I've met you, even though I think it's only since December through Clubhouse, right? But it feels so much longer because I think the first time that we met, it was just like this instant connection, this instant, you could finish my statements, I could finish yours, and I love everything about everything that you do. But I want to give viewers today just a little bit of background in terms of who is Michelda Johnson, who is the water walker. And Michelda Johnson is a serial entrepreneur, strategist, philanthropist, and author, holding the title of CEO for over 20 years. So we know, hashtag single CEO, she's been through it and done it all. She started her entrepreneurial journey as CEO of Innovative HR and Training Services, a vibrant human resource practice with national and international clients in various industries. So you know, you're talking about a woman with a wealth of wisdom and knowledge, and she's also skilled in everything that she does. She led executives through strategic planning, leadership development. She is just a boss. Can somebody type in the comments, boss? She is just a boss. And so much experience. We've heard about edible arrangements. We've heard about what she's doing now with Pivot to Profit. We've heard about Water Walker. Listen, if we read her bio, we will be here 3 days plus. But we're going to put her on the sofa now, and we get to see the inside of the boss. Hashtag single CEO. She is now on the couch, and we are about to chat. Hey, Michelda.
Hey, Krisha.
Listen, I want you to tell us what made you step out with this vision, single CEO. I know you talked about being married. I know we've heard your story of what you've done in business, but where does this passion for hashtag single CEO come from?
You know, that's an interesting question. And I have to say that I didn't really realize that there was a passion here. Um, yeah, and so I'm saying, as I'm saying this, um, I hope that even as I'm talking, that you will open up your mind and elevate yourself, because in all honesty, I was piddling, in the words of my grandmother, piddling around my house on a Saturday. And for whatever reason, I started thinking about being single. And as I thought about being single, the way God kind of operates with me is I would get these sound bites. And as I got these sound bites, I would put them on Facebook. So I got a sound bite that said, stop giving the right emotion to the wrong person and withholding the same emotion from the right person. Hashtag single CEO. About 10 minutes later, another download that came. If there are topics that are off limits, then marriage needs to be off limits too. Hashtag single CEO. Before you know it, another thought came into mind. And it was, a passport is a requirement for this relationship. You will not Miami and Panama City me to death. Hashtag single CEO. And then I had another thought, and it said, I was an open book. He just happened to be illiterate. Hashtag single CEO. So before I knew it,
Hashtag in the comments.
before I knew it, I I had about 60 of those. And 2 people reached out to me. Dr. Tracy Timberlake sent me a private message and said, ma'am, what are you going to do with that? You need to. Apostle Anya Hall, Apostle Dr. Anya Hall,
Wow.
who you will hear Saturday morning, reached out to me and said, God said, write the book. And I said, okay. Now, I didn't know where it was going to take me, but I captured all of those. This is the book. It's on my website, but I wrote the book. And in the middle of that, Dr. Tracy Timberlake said, now that needs to become a summit.
Wow.
Can I tell you why it's so important to make sure you have the right voices around you? Listen, I'm getting that you have the right voices around you who understand the God purpose in you, who are not intimidated, concerned about your focus, your purpose, but will push you into that place. So even as I wrote it, even as I published it, and even as I scheduled the summit, I was still disconnected from it. Can I be transparent?
Please, please.
Because in my disconnection, I was like, but God, I talk business. I don't do relationship stuff. God, I ain't called to just women. I'm called to women, men, children, babies. No, I don't do the children and the babies. But anyway, don't put me on nobody's youth stuff. But I was just saying, like, God, I talk business. You call me to business. That's what I do. And I felt this push for this. And so about 2 weeks ago, I said I was going to cancel it. I'm not doing this.
Wow.
This is too vulnerable for me. And what I realized that business, thank you. See, I told y'all she was going to put me on the sofa.
Yes, come on.
What I realized is that I had allowed business to become a wall built up so that I didn't even have to deal with the relationship. I didn't have to deal with any of it. Like I could, okay, we dating, okay, we doing this, okay, we got this. But it became this wall that now I didn't even want to talk about it. And so you hear me talk about my kids, my grandkids, my dog, right? You never, ever, ever, ever hear me talk about relationships. And so this has pulled down the wall for me in realizing that, you know what? I want to be a full woman. I am a full woman. I am able to show up in every aspect of me and be just that. So that's how this was birthed.
Wow.
About a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, maybe when I wanted to quit and couldn't. God really began, because at that point, then I really had to open myself up and say, okay, speak to me. People can push you, but they can only push you so far. And then you've got to have the revelation that occurs within you. And then that's when I said, okay, God, I surrender. You get my yes. And here we are at the first and definitely not the last summit.
Wow. Wow. That's so powerful, Michelle. And I'm glad that you did not cancel, because the transformation that this is day one and we already blown away. We just spoke a little bit about purpose, and we spoke about that rock and the compression and the pain and the processing and the things that we've been through in life to formulate this purpose. It's Michelle, the tell all today. So share with us a little bit of the things that were defining moments in your life that brought you to this place of surrender and purpose.
That's, oh my goodness, that's an interesting question, because you guys heard me say it earlier, like my goal was married, 2.5 kids, a dog, white picket fence, split level house, like, give me an old Chevrolet. Like it wasn't anything that was expansive. It was just to have a sense of being functional in a functional family environment. And then life happened. I married my high school sweetheart. We ended up divorcing. And in that process, I realized that I had to figure things out. I had to figure life out. So I think my first defining moment was in that moment when we went through that divorce and there was a separation, and it truly was grief. It truly was pain. It truly was, my dreams just died. Like that was all I'd ever dreamed of. So I didn't expect it. And then when it happened at a place where I was 2 weeks home with my baby. So my youngest daughter was 2 weeks old, and we were, maneuvering. And then it was this conversation. And after we had this conversation, because we were church and, really active and all this other stuff, we kept saying, we're going to try and make it work. So we went through counseling. And so my baby was born in November. And I remember November to Easter of that next year, which was about a 6-month span. And in that 6-month span, those were the worst 6 months I could think of my life. I felt the power of rejection. And I already had the spirit, I think, of rejection just from birth. And I felt that rejection. I felt like, what is wrong with me? Because I didn't ask for the divorce. What have I not done? Isn't that what we do, women? We look and we say, what's wrong with me? And so I went through that phase of what is wrong with me. And then I went through that phase where, for 6 months, there were months that I felt like, okay, he's in and we're going to work this out. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, it would be the disappointment. And then, oh, we're back in again. And then it would be the disappointment. My hands are on fire. And then we're going to work this out. And then it would be the disappointment. And I remember, and that's how I know it was Easter Sunday. I remember we went to church on this Sunday. And I left that church and I sat in the car and I simply said this: I will never beg anyone to be with me. If you don't want me, go. I need you to go. We will be fine. And he left and we divorced. And it was something about making that decision for me. It was something about saying, for 6 months, I felt like I was in the balance that maybe you want me, maybe you don't, maybe you do. Maybe if I curl my hair this way, you might like it. Maybe if I wear red lipstick over purple lipstick, or maybe if I sex you more. Come on, y'all. Maybe if I learn how to give it to you in a different way. Maybe if I hang off the chandeliers, you will desire me more. Maybe. And so I kept switching it up and changing it up and trying to be this and trying to be that and trying to figure out, how do I make this man love me enough to want to stay with me? And at night I'd go to bed and cry. I wasn't much of a mom at that point because I was so torn in this emotional space of what is wrong with me. My daddy didn't want me. My mama tried to abort me. And now here I am. And he doesn't want me either. What's wrong with me? And so I finally came and made a decision. And I said, I want me. I want me.
Yes.
I want me to survive. I want me to make it. And so I guess, you know what, maybe that's what God is doing for me, is walking through to tear down that wall that I built up. Because in doing that, guess what? I went complete opposite. I want me to make it. And I made sure that come hell or high water, I was going to make it, that I would never be at the mercy of another individual that had the power to decide and make me feel so insecure. I wanted to make it. So that was the first phase. But there's so much more. We don't have all that time. I just had to, in that moment, make a conscious decision that I want me. And I think from that moment through remarriage, because we remarried again, through divorce again, right? I've made a conscious decision to work through and choose me. I've made a point to choose me. And I've been successful at it sometimes, and I've been horrible at it sometimes. Like I've made horrible decisions and I've made great decisions. But at the end of the day, you get to choose you. And those moments of pain, of frustration, they build such amazing character on the inside of you. They build such amazing tenacity on the inside of you. They build strength on the inside of you. They build in you. And you realize, if I made it through that, I can go through this. So that's what it's done for me, Krisha.
Wow.
Is it's built resiliency in me in a way that maybe a little bit too far on the other end, because now I'm like, where he at? I'm ready now for my move. Okay, I'm sorry.
I love it. But on that note, Michelle, I'm going to tip you a little bit more. So tell us, right? Being the single CEO of your life now and making that decision, I want me, I choose me. What are some of the things that you do that keeps you in that place of choosing you? And now I want you to share with us, what are you looking for the next time around?
Ooh, so how do I keep myself in a place of choosing me? And I have to be honest, because the challenge is I sometimes make that difficult. So whereas I let this go, I became a business-aholic, right? When they say serial entrepreneur, I am that. I became a business-aholic. I became a workaholic. It's me and my kids. We ride or die, me against the world. We 10 toes down. Like, we're gonna make this happen. And so I choose me, though, by finding not balance, but finding focus in life. I choose me by making sure that I do have. So one of the things my kids and I did when they were young, I'm not big on birthdays. Like, if you're my friend, let me just tell you in advance, I am going to forget your birthday. I am not going to send you a card. I am not going to think about it. I promise you. And I'm going to have good intentions. It's not a matter of my heart. I will think about your birthday 5 months later and cash app you or send you something. I'm just not that person, right? And so my kids are like, oh, I can't tell you how many birthdays I forgot. So what we finally decided to do was this. Every year, when they were growing up, we would take a 2-week vacation. And in that 2-week vacation, they got to choose the place, and it had to have historical value, and it had to have something where we could go and learn culture and history. And so we would go for 2 weeks and we would vacation together. We went to New York, we went to Chicago, we went to Arizona, we went to Hawaii, we went to Puerto Rico, we went to St. Thomas, we went to Florida, Miami. We just went 2 weeks. And so when we came back, we would take tons of pictures, and then we would scrapbook. We would create lasting memories. And that was one of the things that was so important for me in my transition of life, in taking care of me, was making sure that even my kids had this legacy when we get together, we have stories that we can share, fun stories, right? Powerful stories, stories that keep us laughing and in stitches and sharing and moments. Like they can always, my daughter always remembers one certain birthday because we did that in New York, right? They always remember certain things because I put value in certain, so I would forget, but then I'd remember at a place that made sense. And so that's how I've been able to, for me, create just that sense of taking care of me. Is for me, I have to take care of those around me. So it's taking care of family. It's taking care of my children. It's making sure my mom had never really, you know, she had traveled by car, but, you know, taking a flight to Hawaii, listen, why she got to get on the plane with some aluminum foil wrapped up, some chicken wrapped up in aluminum foil? I'm like, Mama, we cannot do this. We have this first class flight to Hawaii and you're pulling out chicken wrapped up in aluminum foil. Listen. So when we travel, we have a whole, if you go back over Facebook, it's hashtag shenanigans when we're with my mother, because she is always full of shenanigans. But it's creating those memories, right? And that's what I always encourage is create the memory. Y'all listen, my mama is a mess. Okay, I'm sorry. Did I answer your question?
Next time around?
Next time around, what do I desire? So I've never been that person that's had this list. I've never been that person that said, I want this, and then I want this, and then I want that. I have had some features that I thought was important, but let me say this because Krisha, you said something so important. I have always been clear that my purpose was bigger than where I was in the moment.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know about y'all, but I've always been clear. So when I have dated, like I could have been in the world, I'd have met you at the club and we, you know, whatever, but I know in the back of my mind, I will do what God has called me to do. And so I am literally, I would meet him and then be in the back of my mind, you think he can live with a preacher? You think he gonna be all right with this? Because I know God called me and I know at some point I'm gonna give God a complete yes. Is he gonna be all right in my church world? So let me tell you what I did. Y'all, this is so important. I lived a segmented life. Because I was under the impression, y'all hear me good, that single called women don't get married.
My God.
Because who wants to marry a preacher? I don't want to marry. No, I'm just playing. Listen, I'm saying this because I know there are women that are having hangups about stepping into their purpose because they feel like if they step into their purpose that they are not going to be wanted by whatever they feel like is, you know, this guy. And so I am telling you, I had to say yes. I had to give God my yes, with no holdback, with no anything. Yes, God. Yes, God. Yes, God. Yes, God. I sound like my sister Toyinda. Yes, God. I had to give God my yes.
Wow.
And then when I did that, I can allow him then to move to the next phase of the process. So what does he look like? He covers me.
Ooh, good.
He covers me.
Good.
He covers me. I've never, the money part, God reconciled in my mind the money part because it is my heritage. It is a promise over my life that I will be very, very, very wealthy. I'm not confused by that. So what he brings, now he needs to be able to hold his own. Let me say that as I throw this guy back. But I also realize that there's an anointing in my life for money. Okay. And so I need him to have, I have a dowry. Is that what they say? A dowry, D-O-W-R-Y.
Yes.
That's Southern Alabama, dowry. I got one. So I want him to have one, right? But that's not the supreme thing for me. I need to be covered. I feel God right now.
Yeah.
I need to be covered. I need to know that as I maneuver and navigate around the world, that my guy is covering me in every component and every area of my life. That he's not intimidated by the woman that God has called me to be. That he's not intimidated by where God is going to take us, and that he can handle the weight of glory that is on my life. That's it for me. I just need to be covered. Now, can he be a little young? Listen, just call me Stella. Can it be a little, just, okay, I'm sorry. I'm just playing, y'all. Okay, Christian, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I love it. I love it, Michelle. Listen, I don't know if you've been seeing the chat, but people are like, I needed this. Wow. Thank you for sharing. Like, I love it that it feels like just good talk, like just random conversation. Like we just on the couch, just having an amazing conversation. My last question for you is, we are in this space now and we feel so charged and we feel so empowered. I know you spoke about the journal and I love that. The quote that you said, don't Miami and Panama City me to death. You have to have a passport. I'm an open book. You don't know how to read. Listen, we need to get our hands on that. And I want you to share with us, you know, how do we maintain what we feel right now as a single CEO? How do we maintain in this space? We feel safe, we feel free, we feel like there's access. Now, how do I maintain this when I go back to do life?
Listen, I am glad you asked because, you know, as I was contemplating, what does this look like for me? I need community. We need to have community. We need to have sisters, brothers that really, really, really understand the value of fellowship and the value of support that will help push us, almost birth us into that next level. And so one of the things that I'm going to do, and you guys will get some information about this either during the summit or on Sunday after the summit, is I am going to create a 6-week intensive, just so we can have community, a 6-week intensive that we will talk about navigating the weight. I need to say that again, navigating the weight, because we're going to go through, you are in this position and place of the weight. And I can't wait to Saturday when I do my session to really, really, really unpack the weight and what happens in the weight and how the weight is going to bless you. But you need a midwife to help you navigate the weight. So we're going to do a 6-week intensive on how to navigate the weight. We're going to walk through the journal together. So you'll need to get your journal. We're going to talk about how to switch the mindset, how to change out the DNA, subconscious thoughts that are creating the blocks to our future. We're going to talk about how to let down some of those walls, y'all. Y'all see me over here crying like a baby, but I'm realizing that the walls have fallen down. And so we're going to navigate the weight. And I would love, love, love to be able to navigate the weight with you. That program is going to start in March. It'll be a 6-week program, and it will be amazing. You're going to walk from this program free, full, refreshed, purposed. And can I say this? You won't have to question if you're ready. You're going to know you're ready. You're going to know you are ready. If I were to ask all my single women that are here, how many of you are ready for that next phase of living? How many of you ready for that boo thing? We're going to talk sex. We're going to talk dating. I see y'all. Look at y'all. Look at all these yeses. Oh, not yet, not yet. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to get ready. And I am absolutely delighted to have a front row seat to helping you navigate the wait. So that's it. That's where we go. We're going to have community. We're going to have fun, and we're going to enjoy this process so that you are ready and can navigate the wait, right? We're going to make sure you are ready. So 6-week intensive, and we will do the work together. And that's what I think. Because listen, isn't this amazing? We're going to do the work together. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. It does. Thank you so much, Michelle, for coming to the couch and for being so vulnerable and transparent. And we just love you. So I'm handing it over to you now. And this has been amazing today. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Krisha. I don't let many people put me on the couch. So let me just say that. Dakisha, will you cue up Worth, please? I don't let many people put me on the couch. I enjoy really just kind of sitting in my background, sitting in my space. But thank you so much, because there is a purpose. And sometimes we forget that our story is for purpose, that everything, that there is nothing about your life that will be wasted. There is nothing about who you are that will be wasted. Nothing, absolutely nothing, absolutely nothing, absolutely nothing. So we are going to just play this song as we get ready to close. Thank you guys so much for an amazing day. I have enjoyed you. I've enjoyed every single moment of sharing in this space with you. And we will be back tomorrow. Doors will open at least 30 minutes, if not longer, prior to the start time. Our start time is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our first speaker, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Melody Holt, Love and Marriage Huntsville. You guys spread the word, because it is going to be fantastic. Let's go, Dakisha. You came, changed my life. You thought I was worth clean. You cleaned me up. You cleaned me